Lamb. With Bill Bowler in the lineup, all of a sudden that changes drastically. With Al Conroy going to be with Al May and Mike Yo, and Bill Bowler with Mark Lamb. And that is a potent line.
A lot of options for Dave Tippett. Another option is his goaltending tandem. Pete Dineen realized right off the hop he wanted to get a jewel, and he got one in Frederic Chabot.
Well, what he got is he got the top free agent in the IHL, and Frederic Chabot is one of the best goaltenders in this league. But I think one of the keys is Rob Dopson. Rob Dopson, I believe, will rebound, have a great year, and he'll give Freddie that spell that he needs, because Freddie's never played all that many games in 1 year.
That's a lot of pressure for Freddie Chabot. We'll have to see how he handles it this year. On the San Antonio Dragons side of things, they got their own jewel, maybe one of the best centers in the IHL, and Len Barrie.
Well, Len Barrie, this guy is the center of the centers in the IHL. He does it all. He can stick handle, he can pass, and he can blast the puck.
And he's got perhaps two pretty good line mates, two guys that actually played together in the start in Detroit, found themselves separated when Daniel Shank went to Las Vegas, but they're back together in Shank and Lonnie Loach.
What a line. You can't say enough about that line. Last year combined, they had 256 points at them, and this year, there could be no stop to that line.
All right. It's the Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons from Freeman Coliseum. When we return, it's the Gamble Game Plan. We'll be right back. Houston Aeros Hockey on Prime Sports is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. And by your participating Texas Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. By Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment to healthcare together. By Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by the Gatorade Company. You live life, you get thirsty. Life's a sport. Drink it up. The lights are out at Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio. They figure it'll be a pretty darn close to a sellout. This place holds 9,000 for hockey. They've got a laser light show going on right now. And they've got this place about as wired as you are, Troy.
It's unbelievable, Adam. This place is going to be rocking tonight.
They get about 7,000 for the CHL team that plays here, the San Antonio Iguanas, who incidentally are also going to play in this building this year. But the Dragons have caught the appeal of the city of San Antonio, and they've shown their support here as they're saying they're going to have pretty darn close to a sellout. There was only about 1,500 seats left prior to this hockey game. Now, with this being the kickoff game for the 96-97 season, it's time to introduce the Gamble Game Plan. Troy, a lot is being focused on this hockey game. Let's look at first what's been going on with the Houston Aeros and the pre-game pressure.
Well, first off, we had the first game jitters, and Adam, I went through a lot of these first games playing 9 years pro, and your stomach is just turning right now. You got butterflies, and the team that gets over those butterflies first will be the team that has success in that first period. A lot of times what coaches stress is when you get that first shift, get a shot on goal or get a big body check to get yourself into the game and get over those first game jitters. The mental aspect of it, Adam, the press has played it all up, both the off ice and everything else. Now it's time to play hockey for the Houston Aeros, and that's what they do best. And I think this is going to be a great, relaxing experience after they get that first shift over and they get out and they get that hit, and that they can get mentally into this hockey game. Specialty teams. Last year, the penalty killing went from first to last in 1 year in the IHL. That has to change, especially when you're going to play against some of the top three forwards in the IHL.
Troy, you talk about the first game jitters as they're introducing now the entire San Antonio roster at center ice. You talk about the pressure that comes into a hockey game like this for the Aeros after the season that they did have last year. And things didn't get off to the good start in the preseason. The team was 1-3. But I'd like to point something out. Last year, if you recall, the Aeros went 3-0 in the preseason, and everybody had these high hopes, and they managed to rattle off 6 losses in a row before they defeated the Indianapolis Ice. Now, this team went 1-3 in the preseason, but in the same sense, showed a lot of promise. And it's hard for guys, I think, to get up for the preseason. Tonight, I think, is going to be a pretty good gauge of what Dave Tippett has for a hockey club.
It certainly is going to be a great gauge what Dave Tippett has for a hockey club. And you are correct there, Adam. Last year, I thought that we could have been lazy mentally going into the season. We were 3-0. we were not that great of a team, but we got lucky. We're 3-0. This year, I think they got slapped in the face a couple times. 1-3, they should be ready for opening night.
The Aeros making a little bit of a change. One of the top forwards, in fact, the top forward for the Aeros, Mark Lamb, will be back not only as a player, but as an assistant coach. What kind of an element does that bring for not only Dave Tippett, but for the guys?
It's one of the toughest jobs in hockey, player assistant. I go back 9 years ago when I broke into the IHL. I had a player assistant, Adam. His name's Mark Crawford, the coach of the Stanley Cup champs, and he did a great job. And I've talked to Mark briefly about what he did. And what he did is that it's a fine line, Adam. You have to be with the players, but also you have to be with management. And I think Mark Lamb, out of anyone in this league, can find that compromise. And he's such a great player and a great asset.
All right, well, they're done introducing the San Antonio Dragons. A fantastic pyrotechnic show here. And not unlike my partner, Troy Gamble, it's on fire. And we hope to be on fire when we return. Game 1 of an 82 regular season schedule. The Aeros and the Dragons. We'll be right back. Freeman Coliseum, we are ready for the inaugural game of the 1996-97 season. Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, and while we have a moment here with the extended pregame show that they've got going, I wanted to go a little more in depth with Bill Bowler and clarify the situation with Bowler. The reason of his holdout, and you can't fault the kid. He felt after the season that he had last year, he wanted to take his shot at the NHL. And I have a lot of respect for that. I think the kid's got it right. But in the same sense, I think the big question mark is why he didn't just go ahead and do the Aeros camp and wait for it. And I think that's what is part of the distraction for this Aeros hockey club. They're going to have to get over that. And slowly, as Bill Bowler becomes acclimated with his new teammates, as we touched upon, he's going to be a fantastic addition to this club.
Well, first off, Bill Bowler had 86 points last year for the Las Vegas Thunder. Last year, our top point getter was Mark Lamb at 77. So all of a sudden, you've added 86 points. You just don't get those players out of thin air. It was a great trade to acquire them. Now we need them, and we need them to play.
The Aeros, in their history, have never had a 50-goal scorer. They have one now, hopefully.
Exactly, and that's hopefully. It's going to take him a time to adjust. He's been out. We skated today for the first time with his new teammates, and I'd say that we likely won't see Bill Bowler until next weekend unless something drastically happens tonight.
You can see Freddie Chabot getting ready, and as we talked about Freddie Chabot, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, this guy had a really good team in front of him last year in Cincinnati, and he's going to have to become acclimated to his teammates this year. A lot of people feel that he won't put up the numbers that he put in Cincinnati. I know that not only Pete Dineen and Dave Tippett hopes to prove him wrong, but I think Freddie Chabot hopes to prove him wrong.
Well, Freddie Chabot, if anyone can prove anybody wrong, it's Freddie. He's had a great preseason, and he's been great in practice. And he's the type of goalie that we're going to see will not give up the bad goal. And from not giving up the bad goal, that should keep this hockey team up all the time. I think last year, I had a tendency, personally, to let in a bad goal, the heads would drop. We should not see that this year with Freddie Chabot playing goal.
Yeah, and for the San Antonio Dragons, Bruce Racine is a guy that we saw when he was playing with the Peoria Rivermen last year, and he came down. He is a fantastic goalie with NHL experience, and he's going to help head coach Jeff Brubaker out, I think, in solving their goaltending situation this year.
Well, after talking to Rob Dopson this morning, Rob Dopson played 3 years with Bruce Racine and said he put him in the NHL. So Dauber said that he played with him, and he said he's a stand-up goalie, plays his angles well, played for the St. Louis Blues a little bit last year, but played most of the season in Peoria and had a so-so year. Didn't have a great year, but it wasn't a bad year, and we're going to see a goaltender that they're going to count on.
You know, you look at the Dragons, and if you can get a good look at their jersey, those are Dallas Star jerseys that I guess they bought right off the rack because they didn't get their jerseys in time. They had to silk screen the crest on, which is the San Antonio Dragon. That's Len Barrie right there. They silk screen that on, and I believe the numbers are silk screened also, but you can see there are no shoulder names, no shoulder crests, no name. So, gee, what a dream game for us.
Dream game for us, Adam. But if you can remember, that happened to the Aeros the first year,
yep.
Is that the Aeros had to wear 2 jerseys on opening night because one set was not in time.
The head coach of the San Antonio Dragons, Jeff Brubaker, who we chatted to in the second intermission. We'll have that interview for you, but everybody now rising for the national anthem, and we pause for that here as we get set for the inaugural game for the San Antonio Dragons as they take on the Houston Aeros.
Howl at the Moon, Tommy, John, Sam, and Billy.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, they sing a lot like you do, Troy.
Well, what? Did you hear me in the shower?
Oh, no, don't even
no.
go there. Those are some piano singers from Howl at the Moon. It's a local piano bar here where the guys get going, and they got the crowd going here.
I tell you, that was a great national anthem. Hopefully to start a great year with us being together, Adam.
Yes, let's commence that. All right, the Aeros will start up front, and their lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Mark Lamb, Gary Shuchuk, and Al Conroy. Defensively, Gord Krupke and Miles O'Connor, and once again in goal for his first of probably somewhere between 60 and 65 games, Frederic Chabot, as he will backstop the Aeros. He was #1 in the IHL with a 2.46 goals against average. Starting lineups brought to you as Dave Tippett looks on. The starting lineups of the San Antonio Dragons brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Len Barrie at center with Lonnie Loach and Daniel Shank. That is the bulk of their firepower. Drake Berehowsky and Dave MacIntyre, two pretty good defensemen. Dave MacIntyre more of an offensive defenseman. And then in goal, Bruce Racine. As on the ice, the skating commissioner, Bob Ufer, has just come out on the ice as you look at Bruce Racine's numbers. And Bob Ufer, who I thought was going to be in Salt Lake City tonight to present the banner to the Utah Grizzlies, I guess not, but he's here to welcome one of the new franchises in the IHL.
Well, he must have been reading the USA Today, and for the people that read the USA Today, they talked about hockey in the South and all the growth of hockey in the South. And a lot of people, and I did not know this, Texas has the most pro hockey in North America.
10 teams, professional teams. That's NHL, IHL, CHL. And then there's a couple others I can't even think of. They've got so many leagues, but Texas is home for 10 of them. And Bob Ufer at center ice as they're presenting one of their TAHA, which is Texas Amateur Hockey Association. They're champions, they're Squirt Bees. So congratulations to them as Daniel Shank, their team captain, and Al Conroy come out. In fact, those two were former teammates 2 years ago in Detroit.
They were in Detroit with Rick Dudley coaching, which there's been a coaching change there this year. Also, there's been a lot of changes that later on we can talk about in the IHL.
This has been a season of change in the IHL, a season of growth, and I think a season of a little bit of reorganization, and they've got some really good franchises ready to go. This is one of them. Grand Rapids, I think, is one of the top ones that everybody really seems to be talking about in the IHL. They've done a terrific job there. You know, and then you can look at last year's one of their expansion teams, the Orlando Solar Bears, that went all the way to the Turner Cup Finals, only to lose to the Utah Grizzlies.
And we shouldn't call this team an expansion team in San Antonio. This is a team that moved from Peoria, and 7 players from that Peoria team came down to San Antonio. So they are not an expansion team, they are a transfer team.
All right, our referee tonight is Mr. Joe Ernst, and his linesmen will be Frank Prestigiovanni and Jay Jacobs, who will be selling pants and shirts at the end and ties. No,
This matchup right here is going to be the matchup that Jeff Brubaker is going to try all night, I believe.
Well, he's got the last change, and we're ready to go. They're going to drop the puck. Out Conroy against Len Barrie. This is an Aero lineup with Lamb and Conroy that is defensive-minded, but can really harm you offensively as well. Off the draw, the puck was cleared out at center, and we're underway. Shank brings it ahead, make it MacIntyre across the line, and we've got a whistle and an offside, and already the body's flying as Krupke went in, and he was pushing with Len Barrie, and Krupke turned around, and Shuchuk gets in there, and well, let's see. We've played 15 seconds. We've got a push, a shove, and we've got the fans into the game.
Well, we said in the opening, the Aeros, to get rid of those butterflies, you want to create a hit or a good pass or a shot on goal, and we just saw a hit from Gord Krupke.
The Iguana, or I knew that was going to come out. The Iguanas are going to play in this building this year. But the Dragons, this is their building, and they've done a terrific job with it. They're kind of giving it that ancient theme with castles all around. As Drake Berehowsky for San Antonio shoots the puck into the Aero end. Back goes Krupke, belted to the wall. Puck came out in front at center. Berehowsky shoots, whistle just wide. Now picked up by MacIntyre. This guy's got a cannon. Center to Loach. Couldn't pull the trigger, and the Aeros able to clear it. They've got a 2-on-1, but a pass. Just missing Shuchuk, and Berehowsky hammers himself back into the zone. And the Dragons clear. Here's Shank, right side, shoots, and a terrific right pad save by Chabot, and that gets him right into the game. Aeros can't clear. Conroy able to chip it out as that hit Joe Ernst, the referee. Now Lamb the other way. Lamb across the line, dropped the puck back. Shuchuk cutting in, base of the circle. He was ridden out of the play by Mark LaForge. We've got a whistle and a holding penalty coming up. And let's see who it is on. I believe it is on one of the Dragons, and the Aeros, which we talked about in the Oshman's game plan, will get their first crack on the power play.
Well, I believe it was Dave Harlock that is going to get the penalty for holding Mark Lamb.
And sitting down is Dave Harlock that is taking the seat, and the Aeros will get their first crack on the power play. We've yet to play a minute, and here's a look at it.
Well, you can see that Mark dropped it back and drove hard to the net, and all he could do was haul him down. He thought Mark was likely going to get back the pass, and at 6'4", when you haul down Mark Lamb, who's likely 5'7", it's pretty noticeable.
Pretty easy to spot. And now we'll look at the Aero power play. Freer will center a line with Yo and Townshend. Brian Straub, one of the new acquisitions for the Aeros, will be the left defenseman with Mark Lamb quarterbacking the power play from the point. He will be Lamb and how he operates from the point. He's got the puck at the right side. Lamb dished it over to Straub. Getting set, shoots right on Racine through traffic of Townshend. And also in front was Mark LaForge. He was able to scoop that up and hold on.
Well, that was a good save, and you can see that the Aeros are trying to get those shots from the point. And here, Brian Straub just takes that wrist shot. And we saw that in the one game that they had success, is they got the shots from the point on the net. Not the hard slap shots, the good wrist shots, and the forwards then can converge on the goalie.
Dave Tippett wants to see this team shoot the puck a lot more this year. That's where a guy like Mike Hurlbut, who will probably be on the second unit with Miles O'Connor, will really be a key is getting that puck. He's got a great shot. Here come the Dragons the other way, though, across the line. Jason Miller cutting in, lost the puck. Dug out by Panalev. Grigory Panalev, who won the Turner Cup last year with the Utah Grizzlies, lost the puck, and the Aeros regroup in their end with a minute and a half to go on the power play. Aeros moving up, Lamb pass to Freer off his stick, goes into the Dragon zone, but Chapdelaine is there. Rennie Chapdelaine, one of 7 players that played with the Peoria Rivermen last season, that came down for the Dragons. Freer at center. Fire one rink wide off Graham Townsend's skate. Puck was cleared and out at center. Miller trying to get there, knocks his man down. Loose at neutral ice, and the Aeros have it with a minute 10 on the power play. Scoreless hockey game from San Antonio. Game 1 of an 82-game season for this Houston Aero Hockey Club and the Dragons. Dragons into forecheck as the Aeros try to kill off the power play. Straub near side, takes a bump, it's taken away. Good play by the Dragons, cutting in. A chance there for Scott Hollis, but he was ridden off the play, and the Aeros in transition. Conroy across the line, trying to cut in, and we've got a whistle and another penalty. It's on the Dragons. Delayed call. Hurlbut steers it down. Aeros are going to get a 2-man advantage as soon as they pump up the puck. It came back with Connor, shoots, that's blocked, and we'll get a whistle. As Joe Ernst has a slashing minor, and the Aeros are going to get a 2-man advantage for 35 seconds.
Well, what they were trying to do there was just get it back on net so that they could get the whistle as quick as possible so that Joe Ernst could blow the whistle, and then the team could go on that 5-on-3 power play.
Here come the Aeros bringing it in. Conroy starting the rush.
Well, that was a two-hand slash right across Al Conroy's wrist from Keith Osborne, and that's a good call. I didn't even see that originally happen, and then on the replay, you can see that slash. 2 minutes in the sin bin.
So the Aeros now with a 2-man advantage, 35 seconds. We played not even 2.5 minutes. And the Aeros will go with Al Conroy, Gary Shuchuk, Guy Larose, as we get our first look at him this evening. Hurlbut and Lamb, and now Lamb will kick over to the left point.
Mark Lamb's going to be one of the most versatile players the Aeros have.
Maybe in the IHL. Here's Lamb getting set, top of the slot, roll it to Hurlbut. Aeros moving on the power play. Lamb working the puck down. Hurlbut wanted to shoot it, but the pass was in his skates. Hurlbut sends one Lamb. He tried to center, he lost it. Shank trying to clear, and finally the Dragons able to move it out.
It's very unusual. Most teams play 1 forward up, 2 people back. They play 2 forwards up, 1 D back.
2-man advantage down to 10 seconds. Aeros in their own end. Pass center ice, Conroy. Aeros bring it across the line, trying to get it in on the Dragons. Dropped it back. Lamb watched by Shank, forced him wide. Give it to Larose at the circle. Now Hurlbut's got a chance. The 2-man advantage is over. 5-on-4 for the Aeros. Shuchuk to Lamb, shooting. That was blocked by Shank. Dug out by Larose, and here's Lamb again, winding, shooting, deflected. The puck never made it. Here's the drive by Hurlbut. And a great glove save made by Racine.
What a save by Bruce Racine through traffic. A blistering drive from Mike Hurlbut. And it was a tough drive because the puck was rolling. Hopefully we get a look at it. There's Mike Hurlbut. He's going to walk into it. The puck was rolling. Wow. Stretched out to his left was Bruce Racine. See the puck rolling? And that makes it so much more difficult for the goalie because the player doesn't even know where it's going. How does Bruce Racine know where it's going? And it's all reaction.
The Dragons have 1:14 left to kill on the penalty that remains to Keith Osborne. Face off to the right of Racine. They nickname him Racer. Seemed to me for a goaltender you'd want to call him Eraser.
Well, he hopes that he's an eraser tonight.
Off to a good start for the Dragons. Puck in the Dragon zone. San Antonio trying to clear. Miles O'Connor got over there for Houston. Came back to the line for Straub, but it bounced over his stick. He is belted, and it's out at center. He was hammered by Brian Shantz, who is a fan favorite here because he plays here or played here for the Iguanas.
He's a little spark plug is what he is.
Yeah. He's a good junior player, but up at the pro level, he's made himself a home at the CHL level. See how he handles things here at the IHL level. O'Connor, right point, slap shot, blocked. Now picked up by Alan May for the Aeros. Centered one, tapped away. Down to the boards, taking the Aeros power play down to 35 seconds, and the Dragons clear it down the ice.
The one thing that we're going to notice here tonight, televising the game, is the boards are so wobbly. Anytime there's a little hit, it looks like a humongous hit.
Yeah, they really emphasize things here when you run yourself into the wall. Chabot wants to play the puck. He'll roll it over to Brian Straub. Aero power play down to 15 seconds. Straub hooks a pass to center for O'Connor. He was watched by Scott Hollis. Puck brought in Conroy. Steers one over. Here's the chance for Lamb to Conroy. Fan on the shot. Battle for the puck. Lamb came in there. Give it to Shuchuk. Gary Shuchuk center. Went by Hurlbut. And it's out at center as Osborne got out of the box. A man to beat Jakes. He got by Jakes. He's in on goal. Chabot, a terrific save, and he'll hold on. And now we've got pushing and shoving. And a timeout on the ice will do the same. 3.5, 4.5 gone by in the first. Scoreless hockey game back after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines.
Scores 0-0 in the first period. And here we get a replay. What a move by Keith Osborne. Just out of the penalty box. Beats Steve Jakes. Freddie Chabot on top of the crease. Takes it in the chest. Keeps an eye on the puck. Covers it up and gets the whistle.
Well, I'll tell you, Keith Osborne really slick, and he shook off Jakes, which is not the easiest thing to do.
Well, what happens there is that he came out of the penalty box. He had the speed. Steve Jakes did not.
4-3, the shots in favor of the Dragons, who really have had the quality chances as far. The Aeros have had one good quality chance, and Racine made that lunging glove save. That's been about it so far for the Aeros. Up ice come the Dragons. Lead pass went behind Barrie. Picked up again, though, as the Dragons bring it in left side. MacIntyre shoots. Went wide. Picked up Berehowsky, trying to steer one down. 5 minutes into the hockey game, still scoreless from Freeman Coliseum. Along the boards, MacIntyre pinches. Worked one down. Well, I'll tell you, this Dragon team works hard. This is my first look at them this year, and they are working hard. Now the Aeros have a 3-on-2 the other way. Hurlbut, give it to Yo across the line. Yo is in, but he bobbled the puck just a split second, and that threw Cloutier off. Offside. And that is offside. They'll bring the face-off back to center.
And that's early season. Mike Yo last year played 69 games. Played well. He's looking for a little more this year. Every year he's improved. They're looking for big improvements this year. And Mike Yo came to camp ready to go. Great shape.
He came in last year, and I thought he was just a fit specimen. And then I saw him this year and even put on more size.
Well, he has the shoulder problem, and I think that he wanted to build up those muscles. And I think he was on a special program Jerry Mines devised to strengthen his shoulders.
Off the face-off, Dragons have it. We're scoreless, and it's Dave Harlock. All 6'4" of them worked one up the boards. Freer tried to knock it down. It's picked up by Jason Miller. Couldn't clear. Harlock tried to get it out of there. Couldn't. Second effort is cleared back out at center. Brian Straub to his own line. Give it to Gord Donnelly. Threw it off skates, and it's picked up by San Antonio and across the line. Here's a chance for Pantalea, but he lost it, and Larose moves the other way. Larose with Townshend. Larose cutting in, shoots, hooked it wide of the net. Now Freer left side, trying to move one down to Graeme Townshend. Freer was belted along the boards, and it's controlled by Dave Harlock. He'll move it up the wall and out at center. That's knocked away by Freer. Aeros going with that left wing lock, and it's stymieing the Dragons a little bit. Aeros forechecking very well.
They do have their forecheck going, and with that left wing lock, they should always have 3 men back tonight.
Conroy ran his man to the boards, and he gets the puck back, trying to catch the Dragons in a bit of a change. Here's Morissette on. Dave Morissette shooting, and a glove save made by Racine. Morissette didn't get good wood on it, but Racine makes the save, and now some pushing and shoving on Morissette.
We're going to see a little bit of that from Moose Morissette.
Fans, the speed, the hits, the fans, it's all hockey, whether you need to entertain clients, reward employees, or just want a few nights out with friends and family. The Aeros have a season ticket package for you. Enjoy discounts on Aeros merchandise and skating at the aerodromes. For more information, call 627-AERO. Houston Aeros Hockey Sports, the way it ought to be. Dave Tippett, I think he was the one guy, as concerned as a lot of people were with the preseason, he was the one guy that really wasn't very concerned. He knows what he's got for a hockey club, and he knows coming into this game, he just wants to get these jitters and all these high expectations aside and play.
I think he was one of the biggest moves of the offseason was to re-sign Dave Tippett as head coach.
Bigger than Chabot? Bigger than you?
The biggest that they did all summer.
No, I got to say, you're signing, then Tippett.
We'll see after tonight.
All right, puck dumped into the Aero end. In after it, Shank. That's turned around. The Aeros trying to get it out of there, and that's moved out at neutral ice. MacIntyre, forecheck by Shuchuk. Boy, this game's got intensity written all over it, and we've played, well, just about 7 minutes. Scoreless from Freeman Coliseum. Conroy trying to hook one away. Got it back at center for Gord, who's now sporting sweater number 4 as opposed to 33 last year.
Also, we can see out here how quick they are rotating on their penalty killing. The Aeros think that they can rotate 8 different players on their penalty killing.
Now the puck is dumped in. As Morissette, we mentioned, got that penalty with that pushing and shoving match. First power play on for the Dragons. And the puck is shot out at center and back into the San Antonio zone. MacIntyre hustles back, pursued by Yo. Jammed it to the near side for Lonnie Loach. And San Antonio jumps up with MacIntyre for Len Barrie. And here come the Dragons. Lead pass to Berehowsky. Sends one to Shank. That's chipped away. And Gord Donnelly, fired it right off Shank. Couldn't get it out of there. Shank takes Donnelly to the boards. They grind it out. Dragons trying to move it down, but finally the Aeros able to clear it back down the ice.
Another thing that I noticed out there is that the Aeros are forcing a lot more down ice this year.
Guy Larose able to turn it around.
30 seconds.
Boomed it down. There's half a minute to go in the Dragon power play. We're 8 minutes into the first, scoreless. Here comes San Antonio to center. It's Brent trying to shake off a check. Krupke goes in after it. He's taken to the boards by Scott Hollis. Puck centered, loose puck. And Finally, Straub was there. Straub to center. Give it to Freer. The Aeros shorthanded for another 5 seconds. Freer dumps in and goes for the quick change.
You mentioned Bilodeau there. They say he's been the surprise in all camp.
He has been a big surprise, and Donnelly plays it, but maybe not to Jeff Brubaker, their coach. He felt Montreal gave up on him too early. He says, I'll take it, even though he played, Bilodeau did, for San Francisco last year. And here come the Dragons the other way as there was a big collision. That got the crowd going. I think if we were to watch a kaleidoscope with flowers growing, that would get the crowd going tonight. They are just wired as Morissette touches the puck. It's offsides, face-off brought to center. When we return, scoreless from San Antonio. Back after this. In the first period, the Houston Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons scoreless, and I'll tell you what, we really thought that there was going to be a lot. And Jeff Brubaker, the head coach of the Dragons, he says, I want intensity on my team for 60 minutes, not 1 minute less, and he's getting it thus far.
Well, what he does is he scares the heck out of them. See the size of Brubaker?
Oh, well, he could probably never be a color man in hockey because he'd never fit in the booth. He's huge, just tall and very intimidating.
Very intimidating man.
We had a good chat with him before the game,
and we'll see his size compared to you, Adam.
Oh, brother. All right, puck at center ice. We're back to action. Panalev now brings it up for San Antonio. That's knocked away Lamb. Able to chip it out at center, and the Aeros regroup. Aeros have created some chances, but really haven't gotten the quality shots on goal in this first period. Lamb, his pass just missing Shuchuk. Going back to play it is Mark LaForge. Trying to work one up for Panalev, and the Dragons go back. Harlock worked over by Shuchuk in the board. They grind it out some more. Finally taken by Conroy. He sends one to the line for Mike Hurlbut. Hurlbut to Lamb. Sends one to Conroy. Centered one. It went off skates. Harlock in there to dig. Shuchuk took the puck away. Had his stick held. Shuchuk kicks the Lamb. Base of the circle. He centered one, but Conroy was shaded off the puck. But he took it back. Good work by Conroy and Lamb and Shuchuk. And then Shuchuk drills from behind. A penalty coming up. Battle for the puck. And finally, I think Mark LaForge, who put a pretty good two-hander to the back of Shuchuk, is going to draw the penalty here.
Well, Mark LaForge, a 6'3", just nailed Gary Shuchuk across the back. And Mark LaForge has been known for his physical play. That was a little too physical, Adam.
So he'll go to the box and watch in front of the net. For those of you watching this game on Prime Sports.
This is what you call a huge cross check. That's not it there. It was in front of the net. That was the mix-up behind. You can see the little glove rub there of Al Conroy, and that is spunky play by Al Conroy. He gets that little glove up in your face, and he just gives you a little face wash.
You know what? You kind of have similar teams in some aspect. I think San Antonio is going to be one of those gritty teams that likes the old face wash, the extra jab to the gut.
Well, Al thought he had a little speck of maybe a pregame meal on his cheek.
Clean the schmutz off your face. Here's Yo on the power play. Gets it over now for Miles O'Connor, who's working the point with Brian Straub. Now Freer worked one down for Mike Yo. Power play just getting started for the Aeros. It's their third of the night. Yo at the hash marks, getting set, sends one down. Freer trying to cut in. He centered. Straub winding, shooting. He missed just to the far side. O'Connor's pass knocked away. And here come the Dragons shorthanded. It's Yanis Tomans trying to bring one in there, and it's finally into the Aero end and turned around by Brian Straub. Here comes Yo. Yo in across the line, lost the puck. Dragons can't clear. Straub cuts to the slot. Straub with a minute 17 on the power play. Got forced to the line. It's out at center. And the Aeros are there. Yo's pass, a little too far for O'Connor. Miles able to clear it to center. Townshend looped it for Brian Straub. 9 minutes to go in the first period. No score in the game. Shuchuk across the line. Steers one down, Conroy cutting in, shoots, received the save, rebound. Hurlbut couldn't pull the trigger. Under a minute to go in the power play. Hurlbut winding, shooting, scoring! Mike Hurlbut with a one-time drive, top of the slot at the power play goal. Aeros take a 1-0 lead.
All that play started from Gary Shuchuk, delaying, making the nice pass down to Al Conroy, who fed it back to Mike Hurlbut, who drove it to the net. Here we go. Pass out to Hurlbut, one-timer. Nothing Bruce Racine could do there.
Well, and this is what Dave Tippett has wanted, more shots from the point, and this paid off.
Unbelievable shot from Mike Hurlbut. Al Conroy had given it back to Gary Shuchuk, who made the soft pass to Mike Hurlbut. And what a relief for Mike Hurlbut to get that first goal out of the way.
Well, Mike Hurlbut is going to be counted upon to maybe be the leader of this team from the blue line from an offensive defenseman standpoint.
He was an all-star in the American League, and they expect that he could be an all-star in the IHL.
Well, off to a good start as the Aeros take the 1-0 lead. The nice thing about doing the first game of the year, it's his first of the year, it's easy to keep stats.
Easy to keep stats.
Off the face-off, Dragons have it, and it's fired into the arrow end. Chabot goes to play. Jammed it along the near side. Lamb couldn't get there. Donnelly pushing and shoving with Shank, and I think Donnelly's going to come up short end here. Got the stick high on Danny Shank, and we'll sort it out when we return. 8:36 to go in the first period. Aeros with a 1-0 lead. We were talking about Danny Shank or Al Conroy, how he kind of face washes and gets guys into trouble. Well, Daniel Shank got Gord Donnelly into a little bit of trouble, and the Aeros will be shorthanded for the second time tonight as Donnelly sits for high sticking.
Donnelly just got his stick up a little high on Shank, and the one thing about Shank, he's the best in the IHL for drawing penalties.
Oh, there's no doubt. Conroy able to clear the puck to the line, not out. Berehowsky held it, but he threw it off skates. It's out to center. Shuchuk pursues, nearly took the puck away. Conroy brings it in. Al Conroy, I think, to be honest with you, is flying tonight. I think this line is really doing a terrific job for the Aeros.
After last year, he's taking a lot upon himself, and that's why you see him out there tonight being one of the best players.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? If you even remotely ask these guys anything about last year, they kind of look at you. It's dead in their mind, and I think you'll hear that in Dave Tippett's comments coming up in the first intermission, how they're focused on only one thing. Anything less than a Turner Cup will not be a very successful season. And I like that talk. I like that a lot. Now a chance for the Aeros, shorthanded. Larose got a chance. Larose is in alone. Larose waits. He shoots. Great save by Racine. A terrific right pad save. And he gets this crowd on fire.
That is just great skating from Larose. He had Berehowsky trying to catch him, but when Guy Larose is at full speed, forget it. There he is, breaking away. Sorry, Drake, you're too late. And there's the chop in the back. But what a save by Bruce Racine to get that right pad. He stayed down low in his stance and moved and kicked out his right leg. Bruce Racine's played very well so far.
That's a critical save he made there on Guy Larose.
It was a nice play by Guy Larose to move from his left to the right. He would have liked to went upstairs, but when you have Drake Berehowsky, who's 6'4", chasing you, you want to just get rid of that puck.
Drake Berehowsky, who's in the box, he most notably got his start in the NHL with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And the Maple Leafs thought that they had the second coming. Drake Berehowsky has great potential.
All right, Aeros on the power play in about a minute 4. We'll go 4-on-4 for that duration. Now the Dragons are out at center, romping down the right side. It's Jason Miller. Dumps the puck in, Chabot out of the cage. Chabot flings it along the boards as Krupke getting into it with one of the Dragons. Battle for the puck, Krupke's there. Krupke trying to move it out of there. That's knocked away. Panaleev has it on this 4-on-4 situation. Panaleev trying to get away from O'Connor. He did. Panaleev turning in the circle, back to the line. A shot by Chapdelaine wide, and the Aeros come up with it. Shuchuk up the boards. Get it to center for O'Connor. O'Connor across the line. O'Connor lets a shot go, but a pretty routine glove save by Bruce Racine. He'll hold on with 7:04 to go. In the first, 1-0. The Aeros lead it on a Mike Hurlbut goal, a power play tally.
Talking to some of the Dragons today, Panaleev was the one player that stood out in training camp. This kid has skill.
Well, Panaleev, he's not very big, but he's very strong, and he's not your typical European player.
He has legs the size of tree trunks, and I just noticed Brubaker there. I noticed him standing up on the bench, and if I'm a season ticket holder behind there, I'm pretty peeved right now.
Yeah. 7-4, the Aeros are out shooting the Dragons. Dragons have been stuck on 4 shots for about the last 12, 13 minutes. Look at them behind there. They're going, well, you know, we'll sit back, relax, enjoy the game, and hopefully maybe Jeff will move around a little bit.
Well, who's going to say something to a guy that size?
Yeah, exactly. You are, Troy. That's part of the initiation of coming up here.
I had my one run in last year, and that's it. No more.
Here's Brian Straub. They'll send it over to Hurlbut. What, you've never been in an altercation, have you?
Once a year, that's it. So don't get me mad at him.
Here comes Freer across the line. Freer turning in, had it knocked away. In 8 seconds, Aeros will be on the power play. Dragons come away with it. They'll move it up the wall and out at center. It's Guy Levesque. He overskated the puck, a delayed offsides. They need to clear the zone, which is one of the new rules we can talk about, this new delayed offsides. You can clear the zone, but once you touch up, you cannot go back in as an offsides call now coming up. And the Aeros are on the power play, but only for 43 seconds. That is what remains to Drake Berehowsky. 6:25 to play in the first. 1-0 Aeros.
That rule is confusing to everyone. Oh. And all it does is clog up the neutral zone.
Well, I think what they were thinking is that the defenseman now, I don't understand why they're trying to get the defenseman to carry. I think instead of sitting back and letting a team come to you, you want to go after them.
There's a picture of Graeme Townshend, who was the Neutralite Man of the Year in the IHL for community service. And Graeme Townshend does more community service than any pro athlete in North America.
Yeah, and tomorrow at the Aeros home opener, he will be presented the award and recognized by the Aeros in the city of Houston.
And he should be.
Yeah.
What he does for the community is amazing.
And talk about a player that's come into his own. I think there were a lot of question marks about Graeme Townshend after the first year. But Dave Tippett has said he's going to utilize Graeme in a little bit different role. And you know, if you ask Dave Tippett, he thinks Graeme Townshend might have been his most consistent, if not his best forward in the preseason.
Well, he has that size, but now he's in the box.
Aeros are going to get nailed for too many men on the ice, so Townshend will serve the penalty. That's not very neutralitish of him. Not very man of the year-ish. But he'll sit in the box, and that'll do it for the Aero power play. They got about 3 seconds of it. Now the Dragons will get a power play in half a minute. Miles O'Connor lost the puck. Panalev's got a break. Panalev is in. Panalev will shoot. And Chabot got over there to make the save, and a penalty coming up to the Aeros. Delayed call. Panalev blew right between Miles O'Connor and Gord Krupke after O'Connor had coughed up the puck at his line, and in went Panalev.
Sometimes you can turn over the puck, but to Panalev, forget it, because he's off to the races, and this guy's a thoroughbred in the IHL. He skates with the best of them.
Krupke will get the penalty.
Watch him go here. There's the turnover. Watch him blast off. See you later. He can fly. Gord Krupke ties him up. And there's the penalty.
So the Aeros now, in 18 seconds, will be down 2 men. And the Aeros needing to watch a little bit here as we'll get a good look at this power play unit, which will now bring out Len Barrie, Daniel Shank, Lonnie Loach, Dave MacIntyre, the only defenseman, but in 18 seconds, they'll get Berehowsky
That is
back.
Explosiveness at the finest in the IHL.
Here's Al Conroy. He's able to move it up the boards, couldn't get it out of the zone. Now a chance. Here's Loach, centered the shot. Oh, just went wide. How lucky is Freddie Chabot there?
I don't know if that was luck or if Freddie got a piece of it when he dove across.
Well, he keeps it 1-0, and a 2-man advantage now for the San Antonio Dragons. At center ice, Loach drills it in. Hard rim around the boards for Shank. Lets it roll back to MacIntyre. You've got to get on MacIntyre because the guy has got a howitzer. You think Hurlbut put one in with a good shot? This guy can rip it. Now, Berehowsky, top of the slot, shoots. Chabot got a piece of it and deflected it to the corner. It'll go to the line. Berehowsky getting set. Hooked one down. It came back. Berehowsky shoots. He went upstairs. Chabot may have had a shoulder on it. That was a rising shot from Drake Berehowsky. Donnelly fights for the loose puck. 2-man advantage to 38 seconds. Loach camped out behind the cage. Berehowsky missed the net with his shot. Now it's Len Barrie. To the line for MacIntyre. Berehowsky to MacIntyre. Fakes the shot. Hooked one down. That went wide. Barrie sends one. Here's a centering pass. Berehowsky couldn't get a shot away. A delayed penalty coming to the Aeros. A shot. And Hurlbut fighting for it. And we've got a slashing minor coming up to the Aeros. And right now, the Aeros are finding the shovel and digging themselves into a huge hole.
I think what we're going to see is Gord Donnelly took a swipe at, I believe it might have been Len Barrie. And he's going to get 2 minutes, I believe, for slashing. And
right now, Joe Ernst, the referee, is talking I'm not so sure Donnelly's not going to get more.
I don't know. I don't like the way that scorekeeper's writing things right now.
Let's take a look at the penalty for those of you enjoying the game on Prime Sports.
Gord's going after the puck. Boom.
Ooh, yeah, you got to call that.
That's a 2-minute penalty. Here you go again. He's going for the puck. He's trying to slash his stick. He gets it up too high, gets him between the cuff of the glove and the elbow pad.
I wonder if the talk is about more than 2 minutes for that. I hope not, but Gary Shuchuk going over to the bench to talk with Dave Tippett. Oh, no, I don't know what. Well, I don't know what all the talk was. They have not announced the penalty yet.
All they've announced is how you can purchase tickets.
I know how to purchase tickets.
We can see it in the ice. Tickets, 7 Dragons.
How can you buy tickets for seats that aren't available? This place is packed to the rafters.
Freddie Chabot's just catching his breath.
Well, it's only 2 minutes. And remember now, there's 16 seconds left to Townsend, 42 seconds left to Krupke. So the 2 minutes to Donnelly don't start until the 16 seconds to Townsend are up. So quick math, that would be 22 seconds, 26 seconds. Boy, good thing I wasn't a math major. 26 seconds of a 2-man advantage in addition to what we've got.
That's why I left it with you, Adam.
Oh, thanks, pal. Here's MacIntyre on the power play for the San Antonio Dragons. MacIntyre, top of the slot, steers one over. MacIntyre wanted to pull the trigger, couldn't. Works it back over to Berehowsky. Fakes the shot, goes back to MacIntyre, shoots, but he fired it right off Shuchuk. Now the 2 minutes start to Donnelly. In 23 seconds, the Aeros will get a man back. Puck in the Aero end. There's Freer. Can he clear it? He was hauled down by Len Barrie. Puck squirts free. Here is Steve Jakes now. Has nowhere to go. He's taken to the boards. Played with the puck too long. Was indecisive where he wanted to go with it. Berehowsky worked one back. Sends one over. In 3 seconds, the Aeros will get a man back. Here's a shot that went wide. And the penalty is over. And Townsend goes out. Townsend cuts out. And the Aeros have a man back. There was some confusion in the penalty box for the Aeros. Puck centered, and that's blasted away, and that is exactly what the Aeros needed. There was confusion because Townsend didn't know if he was to come off for Krupke, and Dave Tippett screaming across the ice saying, Townsend, get out there. But the Aeros, no harm there, but 1:10 to go in the power play.
That was great alertness from Dave Tippett, yelling out across the ice, saying, Towner, get on the ice.
Now the puck brought over the line and offsides, and there's 1 minute exactly remaining in the Gord Donnelly minor, and I'll tell you what, if the Aeros can kill this off. Whew.
There's that key addition, Dave Tippett behind the bench, and all week there was some distractions. Dave Tippett kept this team so focused.
Yeah.
It impressed me immensely, the way he kept the team together and kept them focused on what we are doing here tonight. Try to get the 2 points. Get out of Dodge and get ready for the home opener.
So much about those distractions, and with Bill Bowler finally ending his bid for the NHL and joining
Seems
this
like
Aero
it could
team.
be coming together.
Well, it couldn't come at a better time, Troy. Aeros lead this game 1-0. Chapdelaine at center. Fired a puck ahead to Bilodeau, and that went into the Aero end. Loose puck came back to the line. Here is Chapdelaine getting set. Shoots. Chabot. Well, he couldn't see it through traffic, but it never made it to him. Battle for the puck. Freer lobs one over to Jakes, but he couldn't play it. Jakes in the corner. Trying to work one away. It came over to Keith Osborne. Larose battling in there. Now Jakes takes his man to the boards. That is Brent Bilodeau. And the puck is picked up by the Aeros and shot the length of the ice. In 20 seconds, the the Dragon power play will be history. Really didn't test Chabot but a little bit in the first part of this 2-man advantage. Puck in the corner for Yo. He's hit by Osborne of San Antonio. It came back to the line. A shot went on to Chabot. He will scoop it up as that shot came from Brent Bilodeau, and he will hold on with 1 second remaining in the Donnelly penalty.
Frederic Chabot was out on the top of his crease. And the one thing is Gord, Krupke, and Mike Hurlbut cleared the way so that Freddie could see the puck all the way. And wisely, he took the whistle. And the one thing about Freddie Chabot, players will learn, when you come off that wing, this kid covers everything on the ice. Very, very tough to beat. Will not give up bad goals. And that's what the Aeros were looking for.
Eric Cloutier, one of the new acquisitions for the Aeros, taking the face off, went off his skates, that shot did. Back to the corner, Cloutier trying to clear it. There's a gritty guy in Eric Cloutier. You keep an eye on him. Wearing sweater number 27. Now Donnelly's back out on the pond, and he'll shoot the puck into the San Antonio end. Out of the net, Racine wants to play it, flings it along the boards, got it by Cloutier, but not out. Krupke, long drive, bidding for his first goal as a Houston Aero. And a stick save made by Racine. Puck is in the San Antonio zone. Out at center they come. 3-on-2 the other way. Here's a chance. The shot. Score! Chabot, game is tied at 1.
Brian Sullivan played last year in the Italian league. And he has a cannon. Here he comes, walks in, untouched, blasts a shot, 5-hole between the legs. Not too much Freddie Chabot to do there. It was a 3-on-2 down the ice. Nice little saucer pass there. Sullivan walks into it. And at 6'4", he can get a lot of lumber on it.
And that fires up this crowd and fires up this Dragon Hockey Club. They've tied the game at 1. Minute 40 to play in the period. Conroy taking off the puck. Aeros played about 4 or 5 minutes shorthanded there. They need to get back to the 5-on-5 skating that they had. Here's Lamb the other way, shoots but missed to the far side. Now the Aeros turn it down. Donnelly looking for Conroy, who's having his stick held behind the net by Mark LaForge. Puck in skates. Panaleev trying to get in there. It's loosened up by Lamb. Lamb taken to the wall hard, and finally the Dragons clear it right back out at center as Donnelly hustles back.
We're going to see a quick turn up here.
Straub fired it in, and the Dragons will play it. Puck shot in is the final minute of play in this period. Brian Straub goes back for Houston. Sends one to Freer, and now it's Lamb out at center. Lamb hits the line with Jakes and Townshend. Lamb looking to make a move late in the shift with a backhander, but he missed the net. In there is Mark Freer looking for Townshend, taken to the boards. Lamb still out there late in this shift, needing a line change, battling in there. Lamb gives one to Mark Freer. Freer getting set. He centered one, nobody there. Jakes held at the right side for Freer, sets up. Freer centered. Here's Lamb shooting. That was blocked. Oh man, these Dragons get right in front of you. They're blocking everything tonight. And now the Dragons off to the races, but Townshend got back to chop it away from Len Barrie. Now Freer, the pass. Larose. He had a no-look pass, and I don't know what Larose was thinking there. Not a very good play as Osborne shoots it back down. Jakes goes to play it. Taken to the boards by Barrie. Townshend came up with it. And now Guy Larose will take it as the buzzer sounds, ending this first period. It was all Houston at one point, and then the Dragons give them credit. They got a power play. Even though they didn't score, they managed to get a goal to tie things up, and they are back in this game.
Exciting first period, Adam. Both ways we saw good goaltending. We saw good power plays and great penalty killing on both sides.
All right, we're in the first intermission. The Aeros, the Dragons, knotted at 1. When we return, we'll have more after this. Welcome back to Freeman Coliseum. First intermission between the Houston Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons. The kickoff of the 1996-97 season. I'm with the head coach of the Houston Aeros, Dave Tippett. And Tip, with all the off-ice situation, it must be nice to get down to hockey tonight.
Well, that's it exactly. You know, we came into training camp. Everybody's worked very hard, and you know, we've had a good camp. We've had some players really stand out, and you know, we're looking forward to getting things going here on a winning way.
What are some of the positive attributes of this club? What do you feel encouraged about coming into this year?
Well, obviously Freddie Chabot is a big addition for us in goal. He's going to, you know, really solidify that position for us. We've had some great play in camp from guys like Mark Freer, who's really turned it up a notch from last year. Gary Shuchuk's played very well. Al Conroy, you know, is always consistent and playing well. So we've had some guys play very well in camp, and we got to take it into the season.
How nice is it to finally get Bill Bowler back in the lineup?
Well, Billy, he just came in the other day here. It's going to be great to get him going. You know, we'll get a week of practice behind us after the weekend, and he'll learn a lot of the stuff that our guys have learned the last couple of weeks in camp, and he's going to be a great addition for us.
Now, you look at the situation with Bill Bowler, Mark Freer, Mark Lamb, Al Conroy. I mean, you've got guys that not only can play center, but the wing. Is it nice to have all those options?
Well, I mean, it is. You get players that, are versatile. You can use them in utility positions. This game is there's a lot of injuries that happen, and so you got to be in a position where you can shuffle guys around, and guys that have those capabilities are a great asset. So all those guys they're going to adapt to different situations and do it very well.
This is your first season as a head coach, first full year. Was there anything that you didn't expect when you got to do the camp all on your own?
No, everything went pretty well. The players were very responsive to a lot of the ideas that I was putting forth at them, and like I say, everybody's worked very hard. So I'm very pleased to this point. We just got to take it out of camp and into the regular season.
Yeah, and I think the one thing about this team is their focus. There's only one thing that you've talked about, and that's the Turner Cup.
That's exactly it. We went in our first meeting of the year. We talked about our #1 goal is to win the Turner Cup, and that will not change until the last game of the year.
We appreciate you stopping by. Good luck this year.
Thanks very much, Adam.
All right, that's head coach Dave Tippett joining us, and we will have more from Freeman Coliseum when we return. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Freeman Coliseum here in San Antonio. Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, as the Aeros and the Dragons tied at 1. What were your thoughts of that first period? I really thought the power plays for the Dragons in that second half of the period is what kind of halted the Aero rush.
Well, it certainly did, Adam, and the power play is going to be the key to this game because it is a little scrambly, a lot of penalties tonight.
Well, and it kind of took the Aeros out of their game, but in the same sense, this crowd, I think, really has the Aeros fired up, and it has, obviously, their home team, the Dragons, fired up.
Well, you know what? Season opener, if you're not fired up, you better take off your skates and stay in that locker room. You have to be fired up, Adam. You're playing in a packed house, you're playing in a new city. These guys are excited, and they are giving their all, but you can just see some little subtle mistakes. And what happens with those subtle mistakes is that then guys have to take penalties to make up, and that's why we're seeing all the penalties tonight.
What's your take on this San Antonio team? I mean, I'm really impressed with what their coach, Jeff Brubaker, has got them doing. They're working really hard, and it's showing is they're in this thing really good. They're a bunch of fireballs, spitballs, doing a terrific job.
Well, what they have done here in San Antonio, they have the 3 key guys on the one line, the Barrie line. That is key. Berehowsky on defense, key. Good goaltending. Then what they have is they have a bunch of pluggers and spark plugs, just like you said. And when Jeff Brubaker, who played in the NHL, he was a bruiser, went up and down, he played every night hard. That's what he expects, and that's what everyone else on this team will give him.
The funny thing is, this place is so electrifying, we've lost the power in our broadcast booth, and it's unbelievable. It's a lot of electricity here, and we're having a lot of fun, and we're glad to have you with us this evening on Prime Sports. We'll be back right after this, tied at 1. Welcome back to Freeman Coliseum, tied at 1. Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, and we've been so into this being the opener for the Aeros on the road, and obviously for San Antonio. We didn't talk about some of the new guys for this Houston Aero Hockey Club that have signed 25-game tryouts.
Well, Eric Cloutier there is a little spark plug, plays hard every night, signed a 25-game contract today. What's kind of funny is I watched Pete Deneen downstairs today handing out contracts, and their eyes just lit up. They were so excited that they were given 25-game contracts. Same with Rob Valisevic, who's not playing tonight, and Aaron Bowe, who I think we could see tomorrow night play some action. Big, strong defenseman, plays tough, but can move the puck also. Yeah, and don't forget about Brian Straub, who has a 25-game tryout with this hockey club. This guy played in Fort Wayne last year, played with the Atlanta Knights, and he's found himself a home. Dave Tippett plans on using him on the power play a lot with Mark Lamb. Well, last year, the Aeros had a player named Carl Valmont that was kind of a tweener. Oh, by the way. By the way. He was a tweener. He played up, he played back, he played all over. We've seen a little bit of Brian Straub play wing. He played back. He plays very solid defensively, but adds that offensive punch from the blue line. Let's take a look at the first period stats. They're brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
The shots on goal in the first period. At one point, the Dragons had only 4 shots with about 5 minutes left to play in that period, and then all of a sudden lit it up. Shots after 20 minutes, 10-9 in favor of San Antonio. The Dragons 0 for 5 on the power play, which includes a couple of stints with a 2-man advantage. The Aeros 1 of 4 on the power play. And the penalties, the Dragons 4 penalties for 8 minutes, the Aeros 5 for 10 minutes. And really the last couple of them in that period, I think, really hurt the Aeros rush, the momentum that they had built up in that first period. And I think the best thing that could have happened were the Aeros was A, killing off the penalties, and B, the sound of that buzzer is they now need to regroup and get themselves going like they did in that first period.
Well, exactly. They came out flying in the period, but penalties take so much drain out of the guys that are killing the penalties. And Dave Tippett is trying to use as many as he can. But when you have 3 guys in the penalty box, as the Aeros did at one time, it's pretty tough rotating everyone and getting everyone out there, because some guys are not meant to kill penalties.
All right, 20 minutes in the books here in San Antonio, and when we return, we'll give you another 20 minutes, the second period. 1-1 from Freeman Coliseum. Back after this. Welcome back. Freeman Coliseum. We are tied at 1. The Aeros and the Dragons, as we're just about ready. The Zamboni leaving the ice as we're getting just about ready to start the second period of action. Well, let's see. Even though it's fall in Houston, golf is always a lot of fun. So for a swinging time, take your best shot at the 3rd annual Houston Aeros Slapshot Golf Classic, November 4th at Cypresswood. Good prizes, good people, good fun for a good cause. Proceeds benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Houston Junior Hockey Association, and the Houston Aeros Charities. Call 621-2842 if you're up to par. And I know that if this involves the charities, it involves David Taglerino, and I certainly hope he will not be swinging the club. I've seen him swing the club.
Yeah. Well, and also, I talked to Tag, and I have not ever won a charity golf tournament outright.
Yeah, I mean, he should set it up for you.
Well, no, I'm going to take care of business this year, Adam. What I've decided to do is who's ever on my team, we're going to sink every putt. Because I'm going to stand over the hole, and the ball's going to go right between my legs, just like the puck did all last year. We will win.
I thought you liked to play Rush Limbaugh golf, furthest to the right.
Well, in order to win, I just got to stand over the hole, Adam. That ball goes right between my legs, just like that puck did.
Oh, I'm sitting next to unhappy Gilmore over here. Oh, man. Well, the Aeros definitely, I think, happy in some aspects of that first period. They skated pretty well in that first frame, tied at 1 after 20 minutes. And I'm kind of curious to what Dave Tippett told his troops and what adjustments he's making for this period, because the second and third periods have really been kind of the Achilles heel for the Aeros in the preseason. We really saw it in Kansas City.
I think Dave Tippett wants his team to come out and establish the forecheck. That is what Dave Tippett wants.
And you mean the left wing lock?
The left wing lock is what Dave Tippett would love to see. Is just some dump-ins and get back to that Aeros game plan. And I just see Rob Dopson skating down to the end. It could be a little extra water down in Freddie's crease down there, Frederic Chabot's crease. But Dave Tippett has some help again this year on the bench with Pete Dineen. Pete Dineen is going to help out with the defense again, just to give him a little helping hand to run the bench. It is very tough for one person to run the whole entire bench.
Yeah. Pete runs the defense.
And as you can see, with Dave down with the forwards.
All right.
Well, and here we go. We're sliding down here, and there he is. There he is, Pete Dineen, Director of Player Personnel, who, this team is Pete Dineen's team. He went out, signed Frederic Chabot, signed Gary Shuchuk, made the trade last year, the great trade, to Las Vegas. And he's getting a first-hand look at what he has.
All right, we're underway with the second period. Score tied at 1. Let me just check this. Yes, we are 5 aside. Pinch me, I must be dreaming. Thank you, I was kidding. Now the puck brought in. Here's a chance for Loach. Loach looking for Barrie, that's knocked away. And Shuchuk lost the puck, it's taken away. Len Barrie smacked one in behind. O'Connor trying to chase it, and he's belted from behind by Shank right into the wall. And Miles O'Connor looks over and screams something at Daniel Shank. I've never seen anybody ever yell at Daniel Shank before. Now the puck, and I say that tongue-in-cheek. Puck in the corner, taken by Shank, winding, shooting, Chabot saving, and he'll hold on. Boy, what a terrific shift, first shift of the second period for Daniel Shank, and now Miles O'Connor getting into the middle of things.
With that line out there, that Shank line, you're going to see this stuff. He's an agitator. Some choice words from Miles O'Connor, saying, get out of my crease. Leave Frederic Chabot alone.
Boy, you look at San Antonio and the job that they've done with this great crowd, and already 20 minutes of action and the pushing and the shoving. This rivalry is off to already a very good start.
Well, there's going to be a huge rivalry between these guys. And Daniel Shank, look at those numbers. Wow. And the one number that's not out there is he has 200 penalty minutes, draws about 500 penalties a year.
And you know what? If you want to pick a big knock on Daniel Shank of those penalty minutes, a lot of times they're not at the right time.
Not at the right time, and a lot of them are of the 10-minute and game misconduct variety. And what happens is that Daniel scores 50 goals a year. You want him on the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a guy you'd like to see his pims down just a little bit. Now off the face-off as we stay at 5-a-side. No penalties in that little skirmish. And the puck shot up, and Freer has a chance across the line. Freer moving in, shoot! He scores! Mark Freer down the right side, beating Racine short side. And the Aeros take a 2-1 lead.
Mark Freer all camp has been shooting the puck so much better. His upper body strength is up, and he's driving the puck so much harder than he did last year. And there, for an instance, beat Bruce Racine short side.
You know, you told me a little story about Mark Freer last year, how you could tell that last year he had a little bit off his shot. Seems to have it back this year.
Well, watch this shot here. Mark Freer just breaks down the wing, has a bouncing puck, boom, snaps it. Now that is the shot that Mark Freer had 2 years ago. Let's hope it stays here.
Now the Dragons back at center, trailing 2-1. Loose pocket here is Townshend. Fired one in. Dragons trying to clear. That's knocked away. Back out at center, and Len Barrie jumps on a loose puck and fired it ahead to Shank. But Jakes took it away. Here come the Aeros. Townshend fired one in, and the Dragons come right back. Barrie, nice pass for Loach, who's in, but that is offsides. And the face-off back at center.
A little jump in the Aeros out there, and a lot of jump with Mark Freer on that goal. The defenseman was coming over to him, and he just snapped it off so quickly. And that's what the Aeros want to see of Mark Freer. Kept his feet moving and drove the puck low to the glove side. There he is chatting there with Mark Lamb. Mark Lamb's going, geez, did you ever bulk up over the summer?
Yeah, he's put on a tremendous amount of size. Not the most stockiest of guys, but this year he's definitely worked it hard on the weights. Now the puck shot back into the Arrow end. Donnelly gives chase. Donnelly will bring it out now. Donnelly, the pass ahead for Cloutier, but he was pushed off the puck by Chapdelaine. Now Chabot out of the net. Oop, fired it right over to Jason Miller. Sends the puck down into the corner. It came back. Miller cuts in, shoots, just ripped it wide. Actually, that was Panalev that let it go. Panalev wanted to come up with it again, but now Gord Donnelly, or make it Straub rather, that tried to clear it. Loose puck. Donnelly misplayed it, but he was able to turn around behind him and get it over to Yo. Yo at center ice, dumped the puck into the San Antonio zone. It's covered up by Bruce Racine, and he will cover up with just about 2 minutes gone. And now some more pushing and shoving as Alan May gets in there. There's a look at Eric Cloutier getting in there, and some pushing and shoving. And now the gloves drop, and Yo's gonna go. Yo is gonna fight. I don't see the number who it is. Is that Bilodeau? He's fighting with Bilodeau, who's got about 3 or 4 inches on Yo, but boy, Yo right in there with a stiff right hand. Bilodeau's got him locked up in a headlock now. Yo trying to shake him loose with an overhand right. Bilodeau countered with his right, and then Bilodeau took Yo down.
What a bout.
Great bout there.
Bilodeau could get 2 minutes for instigating. Jumped in there very quickly before Mike Yo had his gloves off.
You know, the big knock on Brent Bilodeau when he came out of juniors and into the pro hockey ranks was a guy that's 6'4", never played very tough. They thought he was pretty soft, but he's really turned his game around, and that is exactly what Jeff Brubaker has wanted.
Jeff Brubaker has turned this kid around. I watched him in exhibition twice. This kid is not the same kid that was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens. Jeff Brubaker has lit a fire under him and made him play aggressive. Well, that was a great bout.
A terrific tilt. And here's how it started is Alan May took a little bit of a spear. And Cloutier in the middle of it. I don't know what the delay is. Just even if Bilodeau were to get an instigator, as you pointed out, Troy, the new rule in the IHL is he would not get a game misconduct. He would get just a 10-minute misconduct. But I don't think he instigated it.
After seeing that in the replay, they both got at it pretty hard. Here's a good picture of Mike Yeo. Well, there's two.
The man that used to pick up the nickname Bam Bam, Bilodeau.
Bam Bam's got a little mark over his right eye from a Bam Bam left, I think, from Mike Yeo.
Now they're still trying to sort everything out. Daniel Shank doesn't like this call, and there's 2 minutes up now to Rennie Chapdelaine, as I'm not so sure if he's not serving a 2-minute instigator.
Well,
as far as for Bilodeau.
I wonder if Chapdelaine was the guy that gave the stick to Al May's stomach.
Oh, maybe.
It was tough to see it happen so quick. It was an innocent play, and then all of a sudden there was a little spear
to Al May.
To Al May.
I don't know who it was.
And I wonder.
We'll take a look here for those of you on Prime Sports. Yeah, Chapdelaine, watch. Waiting, whack, right there.
Right in the crest.
Troy, you were all over it.
Well, you know what? They said I needed glasses last year, and I think I just proved them wrong.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, back at the camp.
Back at the camp. Yeah, we can't talk about last year. That's over. That's the last time you're going to hear about last year.
That's what you said last year. All right. They have everything sorted out, and 2 minutes go up to Rennie Chapdelaine.
That was a good look at Daniel Shank's blade. The one thing Daniel Shank does, and he did in the first period, he knocks down more pucks in front of the net than any player in hockey. Not in the IHL, in hockey.
Yeah, he was good. In fact, we were watching him today at practice with tip drills. Is there really
10 minutes doing tip drills?
There's nobody better with a stick than Daniel Shank, which is probably why he kisses it after every goal. Aeros are beyond the power play. It is their 5th of the night. They're 1 of 4 on the man advantage. In fact, one of their goals off the stick of Mike Hurlbut, who is out there with Miles O'Connor. Up front, Al Conroy with Gary Shuchuk and Guy Larose. Conroy, the pass, went behind Larose, but it was dumped in. Racine came out to play it, trying to fire it through Conroy. It came up the boards, and O'Connor sets up right point. Miles O'Connor, give it to Shuchuk, back to O'Connor. Fired it off skates, that'll sail up and out of play.
Very aggressive penalty kill that the Dragons have employed this year.
Oh, everything they're doing is aggressive.
And I guess that's the way Jeff Brubaker supposedly coaches. But in the IHL, once these power plays start clicking, that can be very tough.
Jeff Brubaker was a very tough customer in his day when he played, and I asked him, I said, do you want your team to play like this? He said, no, I don't want someone to tab or label me as this kind of coach or that kind of coach. You know, I was accused of taking the odd slash, the extra high hit. I just want my team to play tough and play disciplined and play smart. And so far, to be honest with you, he's gotten that from them tonight.
Exactly.
Along the board, Shuchuk lost an edge, down he went, and the Dragons able to clear it.
Also, I heard a rumor about Jeff Brubaker. He's the best at crossword puzzles you'll ever find in your life.
Come on.
It's his big hobby, crossword puzzles.
I wish I would have known that when I was chatting with him. I'll have to do that tomorrow when these two teams go at it at the Summit. Oh, by the way, home opener. Here's a shot in the slot, blocked by Panalev, and that is cleared back into the Aero zone. 3 minutes gone in the second, 2-1 hockey game. We're under a minute to go in the Aero power play. Mark Lapp quarterbacking the breakout. He'll send the pass ahead, but too far for Hurlbut, and it's smacked right back down by the Dragons. But here comes Lamb in across the line, trying to beat Berehowsky. Dropped it back for Graeme Townshend. Right back for Lamb. Lamb sliding in, centered. The shot sliced just wide by Cloutier. Now on the boards, Cloutier digs out a puck, but his pass was tipped away. And the Dragons try to clear. They can't. Here's a chance. Lamb shoots. Oh, what a save by Receive. Rebound. They score! Graeme Townshend continues with his torrid scoring. And the Aeros take a 3-1 lead. A power play goal.
What a spectacular play all around. First, we had the unbelievable save on Mark Lamb by Bruce Racine. And then Graeme Townshend, Johnny on the spot, drives it up over for the goal. Here we get a great look at it. Oh, Mark Freer again causes the turnover from Berehowsky. What a play. Oh, off a skate. And then Graeme Townshend driving to the net. What a good play all the way around. Mark Freer, remember that name?
I don't think Houston fans have forgotten that name. They'd like to remember, but Graeme Townshend gets his first of the regular season. He had 3 goals in the preseason. Now, the Dragons down by a couple. Barrie fighting for a loose puck with Brian Straub. We've got a whistle, and we've got penalties coming up, interference, and we'll sort it out when we return. 3-1. The Aeros lead it back after this, but first, this word from Southwest Airlines.
3-1 Aeros in the second. We're going to get another look at this goal. Turnover created by Mark Freer. Mark Lamb goes to shoot it out front off the skate. Graeme Townshend with the backhand flip. And that is such a tough play because he was handcuffed with the stick inside.
Now a shot whistled wide as the penalty. Whistled to Brian Straub, and the Dragons on their 6th power play of the night. Looped it into the corner. Back to the line. Berehowsky, give it to Dave MacIntyre. MacIntyre worked it to Len Barrie. Barrie sets up at the hash marks near side. Barrie scooped it down. Here's a chance. MacIntyre gives to Berehowsky, was taken away by Shuchuk. And he will turn and clear it down the ice. Here's another guy. Shuchuk hasn't been maybe involved as much in the offense, but the things he's done away from the puck has been terrific tonight. Now Barrie shoots, and he cranked one just wide of the net. Loose puck picked up by Shuchuk. And he'll shoot one the length of the ice.
There's always a reason why you play in the NHL. Gary Shuchuk played in the NHL because he's a very smart hockey player, very fast, makes the simple plays.
Away come the Dragons, trailing 3-1. Puck dumped in. Panalev trying to push one in there. Battle for it. It was sent in. Stuff shot. Chabot score! It was blasted in there by, I think, Panalev.
It looked like it got caught up in Frederic Chabot's feet. Panalev came around the net, tried to stuff it, and got a second whack at it. The puck was just sitting there, and he whacked it home the second time.
It's a power play goal, and we'll see here if maybe it was Panalev who jammed it in.
Tries to stuff it, it's not there. Second whack in the net. Kind of a weird play behind the net. We're going to get a look at it. The puck's bouncing. Gord goes around one way. Panalev comes around the other way. Gives it a second whack, and it's in the net.
Now the puck shot into the San Antonio zone. Aero lead cut to 1. Dragons turn. They'll bring it up by Jason Miller. They've got the momentum as Panalev wheels through the neutral zone. Brought the puck behind him. That is offside if he touches it, and they're going to whistle it dead. And they'll bring the face-off back to neutral ice.
Everyone in the Dragon organization was so thrilled that they could get Panalev on this team. And Larose, who came over in the trade last year, the team traded Paul DiPietro to Vegas with Mark Laniel. We received Larose and Bill Bowler, who we're going to see in a few days.
Yeah, if the Aeros get Bowler in shape, and he'll be in the lineup, and as Dave Tippett alluded to in the intermission, give the Aeros another dimension at center. Now a chance, the Aeros, a shot by Townshend. Oh boy, I think Graeme Townshend's going to come into his own this year. As Krupke hustles back, an icing call coming up, but Graeme Townshend, he says, you know, I'll be happy if I can just get my 20 goals, but if he continues at a pace that he's been, especially in the second half of last year, 20 goals is nothing for him.
Well, if I'm a little bit of a mathematician, it would be 82.
if he goes a goal.
Well,
I don't think Graeme Townshend's going to get a goal a game, and I don't mean to fire a shot at you, Graeme,
but if you go back to exhibition, 3 games, 3 goals, 1 regular season game, 1 goal. But I think Graeme Townsend would be more than happy, and the Aero organization would be more than happy with 20 out of him, some physical play. Such a big guy in front of the net.
Tough to move. And he starts things off.
You can notice the lines in the face-offs. There's a new rule where the players have to keep their feet outside those lines.
Yeah, or it's an immediate whistle and you switch them up. Puck shot in after Conroy, but Racine came out to play it, and it's back out at center ice. Hurlbut turning it neutral. He's forechecked by Shank, fired it off the boards. Aeros trying to bring it in, but it was intercepted by Berehowsky, bringing it across the line with Loach. Pass came to Shank, right side, center, and he's shooting, couldn't get a shot away, and the Aeros are going the other direction now. They've got skates. Conroy winding, faking, cutting, shooting, and Racine made the save. Loose puck jammed away as Lamb came down there, but it's turned around. Here come the Dragons. Loach worked it back, MacIntyre right in, but it was tipped away. And the Aeros turn it around. Lamb feathered a pass for Shuchuk. Shuchuk trying to get in there, and he was taken to the wall with a solid check from David Harlock. MacIntyre cranked one up ice.
If you can get that replay,
And
Shuchuk,
it's now cleared. And back down for Steve Jakes. Back out at center. Here's a chance. Alan May shoots. That went wide. And it's picked up by San Antonio and cleared right back down. As we get a whistle, 3-2, the Aeros lead it. Boy, end-to-end action, both directions.
End-to-end action, and you can see Gary Shuchuk on that shift, hustled all the way back checking, and then would jump back into the play.
And for the Dragon side of things, that line of Barrie, Loach, and Shank creating some havoc as well. They're pretty good off the puck in transition.
Well, their whole entire game is transition, and that's why Jeff Brubaker wants him to play against that Lamb-Conroy line, because that line has offense also.
Yeah, and tomorrow the difference between these two teams is it'll be interesting to see how Dave Tippett counters when he has last line change.
It's going to be unbelievable, because with that last line change, Dave Tippett is going to want to match against Len Barrie's line.
The Dragons play 3 in 3 nights. They'll play in Houston tomorrow, and then they're back home Sunday against Orlando. Now the Aeros the other way. Dave Morissette cutting to the slot, shoots, stopped by Racine. He used Almay as his screen into the corner. He takes his man to the board. Now Morissette fires his body in there. Morissette trying to loosen up the puck. It's controlled by the Dragons, but they couldn't clear. Donnelly pinching, looped one down. That's picked up there by Mark LaForge. He'll skate up the wall and clear it out at center. Eric Cloutier for Houston. Now Morissette dumped it in.
Dave Tippett went to a big lineup there with Almay and Dave Morissette out there.
Now Cloutier getting into it. Right in front with Scott Hollis. Morissette is in there. Well, a lot of pushing and shoving. We'll sort it out when we return. Timeout on the ice. 12:38 to go in the second period. Aeros up 3-2. Graeme Townsend getting some instructions from Pete Dineen and Dave Tippett as the Aeros lead it 3-2. And Pete Dineen not happy that Eric Cloutier is picking up an extra 2 minutes here. And neither is Dave Tippett.
Well, there was a melee over there.
I think Tippett's wondering, have you ever heard of coincidental minors? Now Mark Freer is leaving the game. He's skating off, I'm sure just to get his skate adjusted, is Steve Sumner.
Equipment trainer extraordinaire.
Oh, is there anyone better than Steve Sumner? I just want to know right now.
The training staff with the Houston Aeros is the best in the IHL.
And you got to play with it.
I know firsthand. They are the best.
Yeah, Steve Sumner and Jerry Mines. And you know, and I've been in the business a long time myself and gotten to meet different trainers and good equipment guys. But there's Jerry. Top-notch medical guy.
Top-notch. Our whole entire medical staff, right to the doctors.
Yeah, and you would know.
Well, Dr. Matsu's sitting right beside us.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Chance in front of Chabot makes a save, and he'll hold on.
There's Freddie Chabot going down a la Patrick Waugh with that butterfly style with his chest upright.
The butterfly style, is that a predominantly French goaltender thing?
Patrick Waugh has made it a French goalie thing. Here's the replay. Good shot from Henley-off. Freddie Chabot down, covering all the bottom of the ice. And there we saw the other goalie for the Houston Aeros. No, not Rob Dopson, Gord Donnelly.
Yes. Yes, shot blocker extraordinaire.
He missed that one, but he blocks so many a game.
Now the puck in the corner as the Aeros trying to kill off a penalty to Eric Cloutier. Berehowsky long shot deflected wide. Here's a centering pass, a chance in front, the shot blocked. Another one by Miller. Chabot got a piece of that one. Berehowsky with a minute 23 on the man advantage to MacIntyre. The shot tipped away. Donnelly chased to the corner. Panalev comes out with it. He's tapped to the wall by Hurlbut. Now the Dragons move it around. Brian Sullivan, who has a goal in the game, went down low, and that came out in front. This shot, score! That puck took a weird hop, and it was put in by Jason Miller.
Bad break off the back boards there. Here we go, the puck gets dumped down deep. It takes that weird hop, it jumps. It almost looks like it jumps over Frederic Chabot's stick and Gord Donnelly's stick. Here we get another look, the puck goes down, comes off, boom. It went off Gord Donnelly's heel of his stick across the crease. What a tough break.
Good break for the San Antonio Dragons, and they have tied this game at 3. And boy, what a lot of character after going down 3-1. A power play goal has tied it at 3. And here come the Dragons once again. Barrie, the long shot. Yo to the wall, trying to move it away. Here's Barrie with a sharp angle shot, hit the side of the net. Now the puck center, but Alan May will jump on it and romp the center ice for Mark Lamb. Lamb back for May. May trying to cut in around. Here's a centering pass. Bilodeau got over there, and the puck goes up over the glass and out of play.
Lucky fan with a puck from the first season.
Tomorrow night, the Aeros kick things off with their home opener against these same San Antonio Dragons at 7 o'clock. I should mention, everybody, our radio flagship station, KKHT, has a prior broadcast on, I believe, Rice football. So the Aeros will be heard only on radio tomorrow on 740 KTRH. And we want to thank KTRH for picking that game up.
Sure, Russ Small down there at KTRH. Good friends.
So we appreciate that. We'll have that for you beginning at 7 o'clock as a shot from Krupke goes wide. And it's back out at center. Loose puck at neutralized. Aeros having all kinds of trouble with it now. Aeros trying to move it ahead. Here comes Lamb across the line looking for Yo. Alan May had a chance. He'll shoot. Couldn't get good wood on it. And Bruce Racine is there to cover up and hold on.
Alan May fighting off a checker there, a la Gordie Howe, one-handed into Bruce Racine. And Alan May's been very sharp all camp. And there's the goalie mask of Bruce Racine. If we can get a close-up, I believe that is from the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. Last year, he split time with Peoria in the IHL and St. Louis of the NHL. And he had some funny stories about Mike Keane when I briefly went by him today. And he had Mike, and he said Mike was an adventure for the goalies.
Just ask Brett Hull. I don't even know if he's talking to him yet.
I don't think they are on first name basis.
Face off to the left of Bruce Racine. Guy Larose ready to take this face off after Freer was tossed down to the circle. Drop of the puck. And it's picked up by San Antonio as they win the draw. They'll move it up and out at center ice. Townsend gives chase, but Larose jumps on it. Larose pushed it into the zone. He's taken to the boards by LaForge. Dragons running along the boards. Jakes pinches, and he's belted along the wall. In behind the net, it's Graeme Townsend fighting for it. And it's rolled away. Jakes is in there as well. Aeros battling hard in a 3-3 game with the Dragons. Hurlbut. Just missing Larose. San Antonio back in their own end. Here's a chance. Townsend shoots, but a whistle, and the Aeros were offsides. Townsend had missed the net, and Now some discussion after the whistle, and Townsend saying, hey, come on, the whistle sounded after I shot that.
It's so tough to hear the whistle here tonight with the crowd.
How about us? We are like maybe 15 feet from the ice. I've never been this low, this close. I mean, we're right near, I mean, if we took off our headsets, and, you know, Troy, look at how close we are. I mean, we are right by the ice here. We can see, in fact, I'm glad I've got a goaltender with me, because if a puck comes up here, I know you'll stop it as long as I'm not standing between your legs.
Exactly. If you're between my legs, you're in trouble.
Oh, man. Puck is back in the San Antonio end. Panalev goes back.
This is a la the old Boston Gardens.
Yeah, you're right over the ice there.
Puck shot in. Goes down Jason Miller to the corner. Straub worked him to the wall. In there is Panalev. He's battling with Al Conroy. Conroy muscled him off the feet. And they continue to grind it out. Panalev took an extra shot at Conroy. Lamb able to clear it.
He does not want to mix it up with Al Conroy.
No. Panalev, though, from what I understand, can take care of himself. Here's a chance for the Aeros. A pass coming into Shuchuk, knocked away.
They say his legs are the size of tree trunks.
Yeah.
That's how powerful he is.
Now the other way. Here come the Dragons. Brian Sullivan trying to center one, and play whistle down. We've got a whistle. We've got a penalty behind the play. A roughing minor coming up, and I think it might be Gary Shuchuk.
There was a big mix-up back there, and there goes Gary Shuchuk to the penalty box. Not where he wants to be. There was a big mix-up behind the play. We were watching the play go down, and I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and they were kind of jousting. And Gary Shuchuk goes to the box.
Penalty is on Houston, number 14, Gary Shuchuk.
Face off to the right side of Freddie Chabot. It's 2 minutes up to Shuchuk, and this game has been the tale of two periods all in one. The first half of the first period, the Aeros were outstanding, and you know, the first half of this period, the Aeros had picked it up and now find themselves giving up a couple of goals, and the Dragons have tied it at 3.
Tons of little battles going on all over the ice tonight.
MacIntyre will start the power play from the left point. Worked it behind the cage for Loach. Puck takes a hot peanut in front, and Chabot will cover up and hold on.
The puck is bouncing around Frederic Chabot. He's getting very wise now, just to pounce on it and cover it up. There's a good look at Frederic Chabot's mask, which did come in time. Great paint job with the Aeros logo right on top with the teeth biting out. And the Aeros hope that he has lots of bite in his game.
Off the draw, MacIntyre worked one down for Len Barrie. Barrie getting set, fakes the shot, cuts it down to Shank, chipped one back for Len Barrie. 1:40 to go on the power play for the Dragons. MacIntyre faked the shot, worked it down, centered the shot home. Barrie came down the back door but couldn't get a shot away. Now centered, here's a chance for Shank. Chabot save, rebound! Chabot with a terrific save there. And it is cleared down the ice. Chabot made a couple of trick ones there.
What a diving save. Lost his stick, had his arm out, his blocker out.
Now the Dragons again on the power play. Behind the cage, it's Danny Shank who comes away with it. To the line for MacIntyre. Sliced it, Berehowsky, the shot, changed direction as it hit a stick. Now a shot, tipped in there. Chabot again with another outstanding save in front. I'll tell you, the Dragons work the perimeter, and Frederic Chabot has had enough of this. He'll cover up, and he'll hold on. Oh, man.
There goes that power play of the Dragons with those 5 guys on the ice. They are amazing. Well, and Frederic Chabot, a little slow getting up.
Yeah, Jerry Mines was right out the door to have a look. And don't forget, Freddie Chabot had the bad knee last year.
Here we go. The puck goes around behind Frederic, comes out front. Bam, shot. There he is diving. He's got his blocker out, getting trampled on. He's getting bumped a lot tonight. Puck out front, quick shot, diving. Puck just lying there. Frederic says, I'm gonna lay down here, cover all the bottom. That puck is going nowhere. And that's one thing that Frederic might have to contend with, is all the bumping that is going on tonight.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd time and that takes a pounding on your body.
Well, and again, I'm still concerned about that knee that he injured last year, but it's not a concern to him, evidently. Here's a shot that went wide of the net. Back to the line, Berehowsky has 45 to work on the power play. Puck came out in front, Aeros scoop it away. That's knocked back, now a chance. MacIntyre sends one in, it went through skates. Aeros need to clear the zone, but every loose puck, the Dragons are getting there. Here's Berehowsky, the shot right on, and Chabot will make the save, and he'll hold on. And now somebody takes a pop at Conroy, and then Jakes gets in there and wrestles that man to the ice.
Well, Jakes had no stick there. He was trying to clear the puck. It's pretty tough when you don't have a stick. He had lost his stick.
Panalev and Conroy have been going at it now for a little bit. And Panalev took a pretty good pop at Al Conroy, and Al said, hey, you want to dance? Let's do it.
Here's the shot. A blistering drive. Steve Jakes tries his Gord Donnelly impersonation, slides down, but Frederic Chabot, with all the goalie gear, has the glove and catches it. And as that play was going on, I talked to Dr. Matsu. He says Freddie Chabot's knee is perfect, 100%. They checked him out in training camp, and he was ready to rock and roll.
Well, Al Conroy about to go to the box. I would assume 2 minutes for taking a punch. It's a new rule that I guess I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, well, they have a few new rules in the IHL this year. Taking a punch.
See, I mean, I would understand if Jakes would go. Jakes wrestling down Panalev, who's in the box, but
I think it was just easier taking Panalev off because they've been jostling all period at each other.
Well, Al Conroy will sit down, and here's another look at it.
There's another look.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected. Thanks to Murphy Brown.
The face wash. The face wash.
Oh, there we go.
Oh. All right. Panalev said, I don't got any dirt there. You got any dirt on your face? And through the right hand.
I didn't see the original push by Al Conroy, and I stand corrected, and I apologize. All right, off the draw, Dragons go back to play it with 25 to go on the power play.
It works out that Dr. Matsu's here. That's great. I just got the information on Freddie Chabot right to us. How quick was that? His knee's okay.
7:45 to play in the second period. 3-3 game, 10 remaining now in the San Antonio power play. Here's Len Barrie speeding across the line. Had that scooped away, but now Shank chipped one back for Barrie as the power play is over. Teams at 5 aside. Jakes tied up by Barrie. Came back on the board. Shuchuk came back out on the ice, and here come the Aeros 3-on-2. Shuchuk with Freeman Lamb. Shuchuk right side, centered Lamb, but coming back was Shank, and the Dragons able to clear it. They'll come the other way, 3-on-2. Lead pass for Barrie. Across the line with Loach. He centered it, but back comes Cloutier, and he'll move it up ice. Cloutier playing with it way too much in his own end. He coughed it up. Got too careless, and here's a chance in front. Cloutier was playing with it and nearly cost his team. Cloutier trying to take it out. Cloutier fighting for it. It's picked up by the Dragons. Centering pass, Osborne. Chabot trying to reach around to get it, couldn't. Puck still behind the cage. Cloutier in there to try and poke it away. It came out in front. Stuff shot blocked, and a penalty coming up. And it might be to Cloutier. Let's take a timeout. We'll sort it when we return. 6:39 to play in the second. Tied at 3. Tied at 3, and perhaps Troy Gamble, the shift that Cloutier would like to forget.
He would love to forget this. Stick handled it too much in his own end zone, and with the constant forecheck that the Dragons have, they take it right off his stick. And he ends up chasing him down, and he works hard. But what he ends up doing is he comes back here, and he takes a 2-minute penalty. Bad shit for Cloutier and the Aeros.
All right, here's a centering pass that ricocheted off skates. Back to the line for Berehowsky. And it's worked in behind. In fact, the goal that tied it was a power play goal off a Cloutier penalty. Now along the boards, Aeros trying to get it out of there. Freer moved one ahead, and here's Larose shorthanded, trying to feather one to Brian Straub, but Dragons are back, and here they come. Loach, rink wide pass, Shank trying to chase it down. And there's Donnelly. Donnelly taken to the boards by Shank. Now the puck came out in front, but that's stripped away, and Loach got it back to the line for Berehowsky. Now MacIntyre. Rolled one down, in behind. The Aeros Donnelly gives it over to Larose, and here comes Larose. He'll up the center. Tied at 3, trying to kill off the
minute 13 remaining in this Dragon power play.
And Eric Cloutier does not want too many shifts like that, because under a 25-game contract, your contract is not guaranteed.
Across the line, here's a chance for Jason Miller. He tried to move one in there. Miller worked one back to the line. Here's a chance now for the Dragons. A long shot, changed direction, went down. Chabot will cover up and hold on. 5:31 to go in the second period. Tied at 3:52 seconds remaining in the Cloutier penalty.
Frederic Chabot was very wise there to cover it up. A lot of times it's not that big drive from the point that scores the goal. It's that shot that just gets on the goalie. Their defenseman wristed it on Frederic Chabot very alertly, pounced on it, and got the whistle. Just these little shots right there. Bouncing puck, deflected down, a lot of stuff going on. Cover it up, get the whistle. Smart move by Frederic Chabot.
Face off, left side of Chabot. And Mark Lamb was going to take the face off, but didn't get set in the lines. Now Shuchuk trying to win the draw. He did. Kicked it back. It was hammered along the boards. Aeros need to kill off the remaining 50 seconds. Dragons have it near side as the puck whistled dead for a hand pass, and that'll bring the face-off back to center ice as Joe Ernst, our referee, makes the call.
Joe Ernst has done a very good job tonight controlling the game. There's so much emotion in opening night that he took it upon himself to control the game, and I think he's done a very good job.
He's not the only one that's done a good job tonight.
I don't know. These mistakes, they can add up, just like my goals against average did last year.
All right, off the draw, the Dragons have it. And it's controlled by Brent Bilodeau. San Antonio trying to break out with a puck. Right to left they come. It's worked ahead by Hollis, and now it goes into the arrowhead and back to play it as Hurlbut. That's an icing call and play whistle down.
The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were here tonight, but there's another friend of the Aeros that signed with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's Big John Flannery, who played for the Houston Oilers and who's a season ticket holder, who I believe is watching the game tonight in Dallas. At least I hope he's watching
and if
tonight.
he is, we should say hi to Big John Flannery.
We should say hi to Big John Flannery.
Have you ever seen anyone take a big golf swing like he does?
Oh, it is unbelievable when he hits that ball and when he makes contact. You know, at 300 pounds, being a big lineman, and I read that in transactions today, and I was so happy he was up there working out, and he just comes back with Michael Irvin, who's also back in the fold up in Dallas.
All right, face-off back to the Aeros in the San Antonio zone, and the Dragons win the draw. Panalev is there. Scooped it back in behind the net as there's still 18 seconds left in the Cloutier penalty. Aeros done a decent job of killing this off. Jakes, though, misplayed it. It was cleared out at center ice. 8 seconds to go in the power play. Is back to play is David Harlock. Sends it to Bilodeau, who turned the puck over. Larose had it, but lost it to Harlock. It's back at center. Cloutier back out on the ice. Now a chance. San Antonio brings it in. Cloutier's in there, taken to the boards by Panalev. Panalev came away with it. Shakes off the check of Cloutier. Panalev making the move. Trying to waltz around Jakes. Here's a centering pass. The shot jammed just wide. Here's another stuff shot in front. That's tipped away. Aeros need to clear it. They'll take an icing call here. They're able to get it out of the zone. They need to get the line change.
Panalev is like Merlin the magician out there.
Now the puck back in the San Antonio end. In there's Harlock. Tipped away by Alan May. He centered one, but it hit skates. And the Dragons are there. They'll move it up the boards and out in center ice. Miles O'Connor tipped one to Krupke. Now O'Connor will move it up. O'Connor gingerly moves one ahead for Yo, and it's into the San Antonio zone where Racine will stop it. 3:45 to play in the second. Yo centered one. That hit a skate of Alan May, who was dumped on the play, and a penalty coming up to the Dragons. Delayed call. And we get a whistle, and the Aeros are going to get a power play, but we'll sort it out when we return. Timeout on the ice, 3:36 to go. We'll be right back. Three and a half to go in the second period, tied at 3, and how good a play does Mike Yo make here?
That's what Dave Tippett wants. Get it deep, get it deep. Get it deep. Oh, there's a penalty. He got it deep, he got it on the net. And even before that, they got it deep. Dave Tippett, I believe, has told them, let's get back to the basics. Get that puck deep. Let's get our forecheck going. He's worked so hard on this forecheck. It doesn't work if the puck's not deep.
So the Aeros will get another crack on the power play. They're 6th of the night, but they're going to have to start from within their own end as the puck shot down, smacked away by Chabot. Shank going in after it, and that's feathered away. Aeros having trouble with it. Shank takes it, and he'll just skate shorthanded. Daniel Shank turning in his own end, and he'll fire it right back into the Aero end. We're tied at 3 with 3:12 left to go in the second period. 1.5 to go in the Aero power play. Lamb cuts a puck up to Mike Hurlbut. Through the neutral zone he'll go. Shoots it into the San Antonio end. Now jammed away, and the Dragons shoot it down the ice. Here's Chabot, fake smacking it along the boards as Shank was going in there. Daniel Shank doesn't have a goal in this game, but he's wreaked a lot of havoc tonight. Here's a puck that's knocked away, and the Aeros can't even get it across the line right now.
They need to get it deep. They need to get it deep.
Here is Mike Hurlbut in behind his net for Houston with under a minute to go on the power play for Freer. He'll backhand it into the zone. Townshend pursues. Out of the net, Racine. And it's up for Grigory Panalev, and he'll just shoot it right back down the ice.
You have that pronunciation down perfect, Adam.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got a little Russian in you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Here is Alan May. He'll send it up for Miles O'Connor. Pass too far for Straub. Bring it across the line, looking for Freer. Aeros get it in. Now they got to control the puck. Townshend loosens it up into the corner, but it's picked up by Osborne. Osborne poked it along the boards. 20 seconds to go in the power play, and the Aeros will bring it ahead. Or, excuse me, the Dragons will bring it ahead. They'll dump it in as that was Guy Levac, and back goes Miles O'Connor. And then he sends one over to Brian Straub. 7 seconds left in the power play. Freer for Alan May. Down left wing. Looking for a man to pass to Champlain. Takes May to the boards. That'll do it. Teams at 5 aside. And Aeros really struggled on that power play.
That was not one of their better efforts in the night by any means. They never got it deep. They never got any sustained pressure.
Here's Al Conroy. Bring it across the line. Dropped it for Shuchuk. Now jumped on by Lamb. Centered one, but nobody there. And it's Jason Miller who'll come away for San Antonio. Launched ahead. Loose puck, Al Conroy. Now Hurlbut. Fired one ahead, Shuchuk. That looked offsides. Here's the shot by Shuchuk. Received the glove save. I'm not so sure that the Aeros were offsides. They might have been offsides on that play, but it didn't matter with under a minute to go in the second period, tied at 3.
Very close play, but a very good play by Mark Lamb. Just to one-touch pass it to Gary Shuchuk, who was going down the wing. And the Aeros would like to get the puck to Gary Shuchuk a little more because of his speed. Steve Jakes playing behind the blue line. Here's the replay.
Yeah,
a shot.
It was from the far. I think Lamb might have been a step ahead. We don't really see it there.
Yeah, it was tough from this angle where we are positioned here. But he did make a nice little chip pass, offside or not, and we did have the shot. Face-offs, Dragons, 16-7.
Yeah, and that was the area that the Aeros were outstanding in the preseason.
Well, you control the face-offs, you control the play, you control the puck.
Off the draw, Aeros lose the face-off, but it's taken away by Shuchuk. Shot smacked just wide. Conroy trying to dig it out. Looking for Mark Lamb in the corner, and the puck frozen and play halted again with 49 seconds to play in the period. Boy, there's a guy that is on a mission, I think, this year, Al Conroy. And I'm quoting Al Conroy when I asked him about last year and how well he had last year. He had 24 goals and did so many other things well, but he said, Adam, I was downright embarrassed when he looked at his plus-minus number, and he says this is going to be different this year.
11 years pro, he never had a year like last year, never.
Now Shuchuk cutting in, looking for the pass. It came out in front, Conroy fighting for it. His shot went high and wide. In there, it's Brent Bilodeau for the Dragons. Teams are at 5 aside as we're down to 30 seconds in the period, and San Antonio will bust out with it. Pass missing Shank, and the Aeros are back. They're going to whistle it dead on a 2-line pass. I didn't think Shank touched it.
I didn't think Daniel Shank touched it either, but they called him on it. Jeff Brubaker, the bruiser.
He's going to be our guest in the second intermission. We chatted with him before the game. And
my first ever pro game I ever witnessed was in the American League. Jeff Brubaker was playing for the Halifax Voyageurs. He was with the Montreal Canadiens farm team, and wouldn't you know it, there was a brawl.
And he wouldn't have been in it, would he?
I believe he started it. I'm gonna have to ask him that this year.
You got a lot to ask him. through the game. Here come the Dragons now. Across the line, a shot and a stick saved by Chabot. We've got a whistle, and we've got a penalty coming up.
And this is not a penalty that Dave Tippett will be happy with. It was Guy Larose over on the far side, and it looked like there could have been a little bit of a dive, but I believe he's going to get 2 minutes for tripping over on the far side of the play, and it was away from the play. These are penalties that are very tough. Here you go. The camera cannot even get it. It's so far away from the play, and that's not a great sign with 19 seconds left. But that's where the infraction occurred.
Well, Dave Tippett, I know he's been wanting to get some consistency out of his team, and you know, you look at it, they had a 3-1 lead into this period and let it melt away here, and at least they've battled, though. They've been in there and nearly had a chance to take the lead, but boy, a lot of credit goes to San Antonio.
There are so many little battles going on all over the ice, Adam, that tonight it's behind the play, those little battles, just like that tripping call.
2 minutes up on the board, so the Dragons will get the bulk of it. And wow, now we got Gord getting into it with, I believe, Brian Sullivan, and Sullivan got it going there with Krupke, and I don't know if they'll both go or what. I think they might. Frank Prestigiovanni, the linesman, escorting Brian Sullivan off. Frank makes his home. It's a great story on him. He makes his home in Houston, and I said, what do you do when you're not refereeing? He says, I'm a collection guy. He says, oh, so you're good at taking abuse.
Is that what he really is?
Yeah, he runs a collection agency back in Houston. He's like a manager.
Holy cow. It looks like he's collecting someone right now and kicking him off the ice.
Yeah, well, he said, sometimes I take things that I learn on the ice and use it to my job at the collection agency, and other times I take what I learned at the collection agency and bring it out on the ice. And it all has to do with thick skin, I guess.
Sure. And this crew tonight is a very experienced crew in the IHL. And the skating commissioner, with him being in the stands, I'm sure he didn't want any hanky-panky going on tonight, so...
hanky-panky, huh?
Hanky-panky. So he made sure that he had some of the better officials here tonight.
Face-off will be to the right side of Freddie Chabot, who has been anything but hanky-panky.
Very stellar tonight.
Here's a shot by Barrie that changed direction on Chabot, and he made the save, and again, a push and a shove, and the linesman getting in there. 6 seconds to go in the period. By the way, coincidental minors to both Sullivan and Krupke.
There you go. Loss of a face-off, drive from the point, and I believe that was tipped in front of Freddie Chabot. And with that style that he plays, he's able to cover up the rebound. That was a difficult save.
Jason Miller taking the draw. Usually a guy like Glenn Barrie who's out there, he's playing the point on this power play. Barrie, top-notch guy in the face-off circle. Off the draw, Dragons win it. Here's Barrie again, lets the shot go. That was deflected wide. Here's a chance in front. Barrie winding, shooting, and saving his Chabot, but we've got a whistle as the buzzer sounds, so it would not have counted. But the Aeros, I think, quite frankly, can breathe another sigh of relief.
Well, with the way they played that period, I think they're happy to get out of the period tied. It was not a very good period for the Aeros, but now they got 20 minutes to regroup. Last year, they would be down 5-3. It's tied, regroup, let's come fighting back out.
Yeah, and it's really important. I thought you brought up a good point before the game when we were talking. You said, you know, the Aeros, it's so tough going into the third period being down. In fact, I don't think the Aeros ever won a game last year when they were behind after 2 periods. Now they're tied in a position to win this thing.
And that's what Dave Tippett wanted. You're on the road, you're in like a jungle in here. It's not Fort Wayne, but it's San Antonio's jungle. If you're tied going into the third period, you can't be all disappointed.
All right, we are tied at 3 after 40 minutes of play from San Antonio. And when we return, a visit with Jeff Brubaker, the head coach. That's next, right after this. Welcome back to Freeman Coliseum, second intermission. Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons, and I've got the head coach and general manager, Jeff Brubaker. How was it putting this team together over the summer for you?
Well, I didn't have much time to do it. I was hired in early August. A lot of late nights and early mornings, but it's a fun job to have. I was able to land some pretty good players. Situation exists right now in the IHL where a lot of teams are looking to make room under the new salary cap. That was to our benefit. I had a I think fair success in signing some quality players. I think we have a good mix of talent and toughness. And one thing I'll say about this bunch is they're not afraid of hard work. We conducted a fairly tough training camp, and they didn't complain once. They worked very hard.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for. And one of the marquee guys, I think, would be Len Barrie. I'd like you to talk a little bit about him.
Lenny's a super talent in this league. Boy, what a fluid skater. He's going to have a lot of success with us. Our organization likes him right now a lot. He's shown great leadership. He's worked real hard in camp. He's done everything that you would want him to do. He showed excellent leadership. He's a proven player in this league. I'm really looking forward to working with Lenny.
You know, in talking to you before the game, just after the skate this morning, you were really high on Dave MacIntyre. This could be your marquee guy on the blue line. Yeah,
he's another great skater, good hands. He's got a good shot. He's a smart hockey player, loves to play. These are guys, I mean, I haven't had one problem with, we didn't have any problems in training camp with anybody. The team had a great attitude, and they seem to really like this city, and they want this franchise to be successful.
Well, you've been successful yourself everywhere that you've coached. Coming into this first game as a head coach, IHL, what's running through your mind coming into this home opener?
Hey, same thing that's gone through my mind every night, every opening night that we've ever had. You know, let's just win this one. Oh God, if we could just win this one, I'd be real happy.
How's the team been received?
Fantastic. We had a pep rally here last night. Thousands of people showed up, and we weren't even playing hockey. If that's any indication, I know that tonight's going to be a sellout. I really think that hockey has arrived in the South and the Southwest. Who would have thought that 10 years ago we'd be selling out hockey games in San Antonio, Texas? But it's a great game. You know, it's the best spectator sport in the world by far. I'm not surprised or I am surprised that hockey didn't achieve more popularity earlier.
Jeff, I appreciate you stopping by. We really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Head coach Jeff Brubaker of the San Antonio Dragons. We will have more from Freeman Coliseum right after this. Welcome back to Freeman Coliseum, a 3-3 hockey game. After 40 minutes of action, Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, and well, you know, the San Antonio Dragons got down by a score of 3-1, but Jeff Brubaker kept them going, and they have tied this thing up, and really, they looked very good in that period.
There's no quit in the Dragons, and that's from Jeff Brubaker. All the players want to play for Jeff Brubaker. Talking to the players today, they said, hey, this guy wants to win, and we want to win for him.
And, you know, for the Aeros, Dave Tippett, we talked about the fact that he needed to make an adjustment to start the second period, and he did. The Aeros, as we said, built that 3-1 lead.
Well, they came out flying, and then they started to fall back a little bit. Maybe it was a couple penalties here and there, but they came out with all that desire, and they kind of lost it during the period. This third period, they have to come out and keep it going all period.
And one guy that got it going, and it's good news for the Houston Aeros, is Mark Freer, as he got the scoring rush going for the Aeros.
Well, it's Mark Freer coming off the wing, and just a blistering low shot to the glove. And that's something that Mark did not do last year, but with that upper body strength now, he can fire that puck into the net.
Mark Freer getting his first of the season at 52nd mark of that second period. Jake's getting the assist, 2-1. The Aeros led it. They'd make it to 3-1 on a nice Graeme Townsend follow-up.
Well, Graeme Townsend's Johnny on the spot. Mark Lamb creates everything, gets it back out front. Graeme Townsend, what a tough play. You get handcuffed as a player, and he chips it up over Bruce Racine.
First of the year for Townsend at 3:37, a power play goal. Aeros led 3-1, but again, no quitting the Dragons as Grigory Panalev got the Dragons back in.
What a game this kid is having. He just battles so hard down low. Here he is behind the net. He gets the puck from Len Barrie, stuffs it around on Freddie Chabot. Look at that, takes that second whack at it. That's what the Aeros do not want to give up, especially to him.
Power play goal for Panalev from Len Barrie at 4:58. Aeros had a 3-2 lead. That was quickly erased by Jason Miller.
Well, Jason Miller here comes, it's the bad bounce, and he's on the spot. Gord Donnelly, it hits the heel of his stick. Karam's off. Freddie Chabot didn't have a chance.
Yeah, and I think you look at it, Freddie Chabot has given up 3 goals and doesn't do that very much, but it's hard to fault Freddie Chabot. He's played a pretty solid game. In fact, I thought that second period he made some very critical saves that kept the Aeros in it.
He made some great saves. The one thing he's going to have to learn is that in this division, there is so much offense in the Aeros division, is that he's going to get a lot of chances from that danger zone in front of the net. Look at all the goals from the front of the net.
tied at 3 after 40 minutes of play from Freeman Coliseum. We will have more when we return right after this. Three hockey game in the second intermission. Just about ready to start third period action from Freeman Coliseum. And it's time to take a look at the Aeros community calendar. It's brought to you by Columbia HCA Healthcare Centers. Saturday, October 29th, the Aeros will be with the Sunshine Kids Foundation. It's at the game, the Aeros and the Milwaukee Admirals. There's a check presentation. I have not been told how much it is, but rumor has a very substantial sum. I'm sure David Taglerino again working that one over. And then the next day on the 20th, the Aeros will be doing autographs and signing the cookbook. In fact, you've seen this cookbook that the Aeros charities put together. Outstanding. You got to get it.
Spectacular cookbook. It's just unbelievable the work that has went into this cookbook.
Yeah, and once again, I think anything that has to do with charity, you got to look at what David Taglerino has done. And even though he struggles with the golf club, anything else charity related, awesome.
He is the man in the office.
Yep. All right, Saturday, October 26th, second annual blood drive. Billy Blues will be hosting it at the Aerodrome, and tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun, and that is a look at your Columbia HCA community calendar. As the Aeros and the Dragons tied at 3. What's Dave Tippett got to do now for this troop? I mean, they've got a chance to do something that they have never done in their history, and that's win on opening night.
Well, correct, they have not won on opening night in their short history. What they have to do is they have to come out and play 20 minutes of a period.
Yeah, they haven't yet.
We've seen spurts tonight of greatness, and then they kind of fall back. They need a 20-minute period.
Yeah, and you know, we saw it in the Manitoba exhibition game. I don't think they're going to help the Aeros too much, but yet we saw it in the Manitoba game. We saw really 3 periods, solid periods, but Kansas City, they had a good first period and really a dismal rest of the game. The 2 exhibition games in Austin against this San Antonio team that the Aeros lost. Dave Tippett not very pleased. More of the second game. First game, they played all young guys. They didn't play any of they didn't play any of the contracted guys. So, you know, the Aeros, realistically tonight, could be a breakthrough game if they could get themselves a good 20-minute period here and come away with a win. They have lost, which they did last year in Fort Wayne, and then they lost opening night 2 years ago in a shootout to the Denver Grizzlies.
Yeah, and that shootout should have went to protest. They were shining the lights. I was the goalie.
Yeah, you're right.
They were shining the lights in my eyes.
That's right. That's right. And they never did it again after we did say something, but it's kind of like it's already, the harm has been done. All right, it's 3-3 here in the second intermission, and we'll have third period action when we return right after this.
This awesome collection is not sold in stores, so order now. Call toll-free now for the Party Zone. Cassettes $19.98, CDs $26.98. Call now.
It's about tradition. And this fall, the tradition continues with college football on Prime Sports. We'll bring you all your favorite college football action with extensive coverage of conference powerhouses with the new Big 12, Southland, Conference USA, and the Pac-10. It's a college football season you won't forget. College football action kicks off all season on Prime Sports.
Tied at 3. Officials back out on the ice. We're getting ready to start the third period of action. Let's take a look at the stats from that second period, and they're brought to you by your local Texas Jeep and Eagle dealer. 18-16 the shots in favor of the Aeros, and I don't want to know what accounting firm counted those. I disagree with those a little bit, but those are the official stats after 40 minutes of play. 18-16 in favor of the Aeros. Power plays. The Aeros with 2 power play goals, as well the Dragons. 19-9 in the face-off department in favor of San Antonio. 10 penalties for 33 minutes for San Antonio. 14 penalties for 31 minutes for the Houston Aeros. Now, tomorrow, home opener. Folks, if you have not gotten your tickets, a lot is going to happen tomorrow. Let's get it out of the way. 7 o'clock, Dragons of the Aeros. If you can't make it, once again, the only place you'll be able to catch it is on 7:40 a.m. KTRH radio because of prior commitments with KKHT, our flagship station this year. Now, what's going to happen? Well, it's the home opener, so there's going to be some pyrotechnics. There's going to be all kinds of special things. I think Graeme Townshend's getting the Neutral Light Award recognition for the city of Houston. And if I'm not mistaken, we are introducing the first ever Houston Aero team mascot.
That is something to come out for.
You think?
I heard that the mascot is spectacular.
Oh, yeah, I got a preview of him. And it is Joe Pogge, Tracy Mitchell, everybody involved with that. Outstanding job. The kids are going to the adults are going to love him.
Sure. And there's also the mascot, but there's one other thing happening. We're in tuxedos.
Oh, you had to break the big surprise.
Well.
Wow. And what does it take to get you into a tux? I mean, I know it had to get a tie on you tonight.
The tie was tough. I like this no tie thing. All of a sudden, it's a tie every night.
Yeah, you're in the big show now.
The big show.
Oh, Dave Tippett, hoping his team will show him something, is they're tied at 3 and getting ready for action. And Jeff Brubaker, that gum, I am sure has had its work over tonight.
It's been worked over. And the one thing that's been very surprising to myself is both coaches have been so calm behind the benches. Even though with all the penalties and the stuff that has happened on the ice, both coaches have seemed very relaxed behind the benches.
Now, a very sad incident occurred over the offseason, and if you can get a look at the right chest of Jerry Mines, and Steve Sumner, the trainer, has one. That's a little pin, and you can't really see it, but it's a Fort Wayne Comet with the initials GH in memory of trainer Galen Head, who was the trainer, equipment guy, a long time for the Fort Wayne Comets, who was killed in a car crash this off-season. And all the trainers in the IHL are wearing these pins. And we'd like to take this opportunity to express our sorrow toward the organization and to the families of Galen Head.
Galen Head was a spectacular guy, spectacular trainer in the IHL.
Yeah. All right, Aeros have 1:30 left to kill in a Guy Larose penalty that he's caught at the end of the period. The Aeros trying to clear the zone, can't do it. Berehowsky held it in, looking for Loach. That's looped away, and the Aeros romp the center. Shuchuk knocked off the puck, and the Dragons are back, and MacIntyre turns it around for Len Barrie. Cranks the puck into the Aero end. Chabot wants to play it. He'll smack it along the boards. Jake's trying to clear it. Came up the boards, not out. Held in MacIntyre. Get it to Berehowsky. Works one down. Here's the shot. Score! He had been silent for the most part tonight, but his goal speaks volumes now. Len Barrie gets a huge goal to send the Dragons ahead for the first time tonight.
That's one of those goals that you call a gift goal. The puck comes out to the point, comes across. Here it comes across the point. Great play by Berehowsky down to Len Barrie. Open net on the side. And those are goals that the Aeros certainly do not want to give up. It's an empty net goal, basically, because Berehowsky was going to walk with the puck, and Barrie shoots it in the empty net.
Now the Dragons fire one ahead. The puck shot in. Chabot has to get in front of it. Gord Donnelly will turn it around and put it in. First lead of the night for San Antonio. Lots of hockey to go in the period. Aeros clear the zone, but it's controlled by Chapdelaine, and he'll fire it down the ice. Now Brian Straub in behind the net, and he'll break out with it as San Antonio sets up in their trap as Freer trying to break it ahead. Freer across the line, taken to the boards by Jason Miller. It was centered, it was popped away by Racine. Townshend chased it down. Now the puck cuts over to the near side for Daniel Shank. It's back out at center, and Pantalea brings it ahead. Shank!
That was an interesting breakout there from the Aeros with the centerman staying up high.
Chabot gives the puck to Freer. Over, pass, May, shoots, Racine the save. He'll cover up and hold on. Alan May came cranking down the right side, and Freer sent a nice pass to him, but Bruce Racine got over and made a nice save with a minute and a half gone in the third. 4-3 San Antonio.
Alan May is one guy in camp that has been very, very good. And here you get a good look at Mark Freer. Just a nice little feather pass. Al May off the wing, right-handed shot. Drives it in. Bruce Racine was in a good position to make that save. And Alan May has had a couple shots tonight on net. And who are they counting on? He was on a championship team. You can never, ever have enough Alan Mays who win championships on your squad.
That won it with Utah last season as the puck came down to Racine, and he'll take no chances and cover up and hold on.
He was very excited, Al May, to sign in Houston as he had played with the Dallas Stars 2 years prior. Enjoyed Texas, likely enjoyed the no state tax. Yeah. I'm sure all hockey players that come to Texas like that no state tax.
Here's Jakes with a long shot, block. It came over, Yo wanted to play it, Lamb lost an edge, and that's controlled by Hollis and back out at center ice. Now into the arrow end, Chabot slows it for Houston. Jakes runs it up the boards. Lamb trying to bring it ahead. He was spun off the puck, but he'll advance it now. Pass a little too hard for Yo, and that'll go back down the ice.
It looks like the Aeros are trying to get it back in deep, playing smart hockey to get back in this game.
Now the Dragons bring it across the line. Guy Levesque, that's chipped away. Jakes trying to roll one ahead. And here's Al Conroy. Rink wide pass jammed away. Larose wanted to bring it in. That is offsides, face-off brought to center with 2.5 gone in the third. 4-3 San Antonio.
Well, when you talk about gut checks, Adam, coming out, getting that goal scored quickly on the Aeros, this is time to check it out. And Guy Larose is one of those guys that we mentioned, came over on that trade. Great trade, I believe. It's going to work out to be a great trade for the Aeros. Once we get Bill Bowler in the lineup and get him going, Guy Larose going, that should be very good additions to this Aeros lineup.
Len Barrie fired the puck into Aero territory. Out of the net, Chabot smacked one along the boards for Donnelly. He got it to Conroy, couldn't clear the zone, and Conroy will give it a go again behind the net. Send it over to Brian Straub. Straub moves it up and out of his end. Through center ice, he will carry the puck across the line. Give it to Larose. Pass centered, but tipped away, and here come the Dragons. Breathing down the left side, sends one back. Here's the shot by MacIntyre. That is blocked by Gord Donnelly. Got in the way of a big shot from Dave MacIntyre. Now the puck at center ice for Len Barrie. He'll skate across the Aero blue line. Took a slash from Brian Straub. Now lets the shot go, and he fired it wide. Held in by Bilodeau to left point. Jammed it back down for Len Barrie. That's wrestled away by Straub. Into the corner for Pantalea. Grigori Pantalea, I think he's been probably their best forward for San Antonio tonight.
He has.
Here's a chance for Barrie. The puck centered, knocked away. Shank centered, right back, but couldn't lead Pantalea. Now a chance for Daniel Shank. He centered one, that's jammed away. Pantalea got it back. Aeros getting caught chasing the puck a little bit in their end. Now Larose will jump on it and move up and out at center ice. Larose across the line. Larose trying to make his move, he lost it, and we've got a penalty. And it might be on San Antonio. We'll sort it out when we return. Just about 4 minutes gone in the third period. The Aeros trail 4-3. We'll be back right after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines. Well, Len Barrie, who had been hacked and whacked and smacked and slashed all night, finally decided to retaliate and finds himself in the penalty box, and the Aeros with a very important power play to try and get themselves back in this thing and tie it.
Well, we can see out there right now with Mark Freer and Mike Yo, Graeme Townshend, is that with this power play unit, the idea is just to get the puck on the net and let those crashers crash in and hopefully pick up a garbage goal maybe.
Off the face-off, Pantalea cleared it down the ice, and the Aeros will once again seem to have spent a lot of time starting their power plays from their own end. Lamb bobs and weaves, comes out of his end to Miles O'Connor. Dumps the puck in, but back goes Chapdelaine, and he'll fire it along the boards, and right back down the ice it goes.
Well, when they get it in deep there, they want to get it all the way around where we have 2 players going in. You can't just get it in soft.
Lead pass too far for O'Connor. And once again, the Dragons just shoot it right back down the ice. Jason Miller will give pursuit as Lamb goes back, and he'll send the puck over to Miles O'Connor. O'Connor, lead pass, comes out at center ice. Shuchuk trying to bring it ahead. He had lost it. Larose gobbled it up. Larose brings it across the line. Larose down the right side trying to cut in. Behind the net, Shuchuk centered it, but right there was Keith Osborne, and he'll come away for San Antonio and fire it down the ice.
Aeros having a tough time getting it in and getting it set up. They cannot get their setup.
San Antonio is beating him to a lot of the loose pucks right now, and they're hungry. Let's face it, they're hungry right now. Larose sends one down for Lamb, spins it down Conroy, rolled it over to Shuchuk. 43 on the power play. Hurlbut shoots, deflected away. In there, Scott Hollis has it, cleared to the line, not out. Hurlbut got it down for Houston to Conroy. Larose gives a look at it. Here's a chance. Lamb over to Hurlbut with 25 to go on the power play. Shuchuk to the line. Hurlbut cranked it right. That was blocked by Osborne. Lamb had it poked off his stick, and there's a pass. It'll go right back to center ice.
Right now, the Dragons are beating the Aeros to all those loose pucks.
And the Aeros find themselves dumping it back in. Here is Shuchuk, left side. Trying to find a man to pass to. An ill-advised pass intercepted by Shank. Here he comes short-handed. Right in, shoots. Chabot to save. He'll hold on just as the penalty had expired. And Chabot had nowhere to go with it. And he'll hold on to it with 6 minutes gone in the third and a 4-3 San Antonio lead.
You can see here Freddie Chabot with Daniel Shank coming down the wing. Daniel Shank has a tremendous shot off the wing, and Freddie Chabot just stands tall, goes down, and takes it right in the stomach. And the one thing about Daniel Shank is his stick. He has one of the longest sticks in the IHL, which gives him that leverage to really come down on the puck. And plus, he has one of the ugliest curves. This curve on this guy's stick is like a paddle, so he can knock the pucks in. There, look at that stick, paddle all over the place.
Shank trying to get it out of there. Swept down the ice by the Aeros. Icing indicated as MacIntyre goes back. And they'll bring the face-off back into the Aero end.
The Aeros got to get back and get their feet moving. The last 5 minutes, they came out the first 2 minutes, they were fine. The last 5 minutes, they're not moving their feet as well. You got to keep your feet moving. You got to keep making those 8 to 10 foot passes instead of those 20 foot rink wide passes. And Dave Tippett right now is trying to sort some stuff out and find a line combination that he can count on to go out there and get some good scoring opportunities. We had not really tested Bruce Racine this period, and in the second period, only at the start.
Yeah, I thought the last 10 minutes, it was clearly San Antonio with the dominance of the play. Now off the face-off, Dragons have it. Here's Berehowsky centering one. That's knocked away by Alan May. Cleared to the line. Loach held in for the Dragons. Now Len Barrie popped it back. But it's intercepted by Yo. He'll come out at center ice. Mike Yo, and across the line, belted along the boards. And the Dragons will play it. MacIntyre creamed to the wall. Here's a chance for May, gives it to Yo. Yo trying to shake off a check. He'll roll it down behind the net. Alan May in a battle with Berehowsky. They wrestle for it to the corner, and Berehowsky had fallen on it. And now May and MacIntyre go at it. You know, Dave MacIntyre, I don't know if you want to go with this guy. Isn't he an ex-Golden Gloves boxing champion?
Well, he's from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Where am I from? New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. I played some minor hockey with Dave MacIntyre, and yes, I believe he was in the champ at his weight division when he was a young kid in Nova Scotia. And I'm going to have to talk to him tomorrow and make sure that Dave MacIntyre was the champ, but I'm almost positive on that. Played a little minor hockey with him.
You know, it's a different thing when you're a boxer and a fighter on the ice. And first of all, he's a guy that doesn't fight, doesn't look for it, but regardless, a guy that can take care of himself.
I would be very careful of his left hand.
Yes. Here's a puck for Conroy in behind the net. Conroy getting set along the far board, scooped it down for Shuchuk. Shuffled the pass down now for Lamb. He centered it, but right off skates of Chapdelaine, and that is clear, but not out. O'Connor made a nice play to hold it in, and then he was run into. And here's a 3-on-1 for San Antonio. The pass in, Pantaleo shoots, and he fanned on it. Big break for the Aeros, and now Lamb's the other way, but he had it popped away, and right back down the ice.
I don't know if that was a fan or Gary Shuchuk getting back again. Gary Shuchuk was back.
Now on the boards, here is Conroy across the line. Conroy shooting, that is blocked. Rebound, Townsend scores! Graeme Townsend, and he's tied the game at 4, and here we go. What is this, the Alamo again?
It is a battle.
I think it was Townsend. There was a scrum for that loose puck. And regardless, whether it was Townsend or Conroy, the Aeros have reached down and tied this game at 4.
I'm almost positive it was Graeme Townsend, who, if it is, would be his second goal. Hopefully we'll get another look here. Here we go. Shot from Al Conroy.
Lamb was in there as well, but I think it was Townsend.
There's Graeme Townsend. And then he gets pushed in to Bruce Racine. Shot, get the puck in, get the puck in. There's that shot. There's Graeme Townsend, and there he gets rocked into the net.
Well, the Aeros have tied this game at 4. And with his second of the night, I think he's a man on a mission. I mean, with he had 3 goals in 3 games in the preseason.
Well, he should be. All he did off season was teach hockey schools. That's all he did. All off season was teach hockey schools. Well, it looked like in his teaching, he's taught himself some things.
Now, wait a minute. They've waved the goal off? Are you kidding me?
No. The goal is good.
They haven't put it up. Okay, there it is. Now they haven't put it up, and I'm watching. I was getting a little concerned there. I was watching some of the Aeros down there, and I thought maybe there was some argument going on, and an extra penalty also to add injury to insult.
Brian Sutherland cross-checked Graeme Townsend in the net after a play. That's how that melee started.
And he got a penalty for it. So the Aeros are on the power play again.
With a chance to take the lead.
Tied at 4. Lamb. Work one out at center for Freeman. And caught an elbow from Billino. But the play goes on. Puck near side, Straub getting set. Straub on the power play. Hooked it down. Aeros maybe with a little momentum now. Straub, cross-ice pass, Lamb. Hooked it down to the corner. Yo trying to dig it out. It came out in front. Townsend, who's got 2 tonight. Townsend back for Lamb. Sliced it down. Freer waiting. Oh, he centered it, but didn't have anywhere to go with it. And then Chapdelaine fired it back, and that's a pretty smart play, but a very gutsy one, because that very easily could have been closing the fist on the puck, which is another penalty, but no, he made a smart play in tossing it back to Bruce Racine.
It was almost like he was playing tiddlywinks there. Just tossing it back. He's got no stick. He cannot put his hand totally on it.
Wait a minute, tiddlywink. We've had hanky-panky, we've had tiddlywink. Troy, what are you trying to say?
Well, I'll blame it on, I've been listening a little bit to Daryl Ray, who does the Dallas games, and I think I've been getting a little off him.
Oh, wow.
So, Daryl, if you're listening tonight in Dallas, thanks for all the tips.
Wow. Comments expressed on this program are solely that of Troy Gamble, and anything he said can and will be used against him. Here's a chance. Conroy shoots, and he cranked one off the glass. Aeros still on the power play for another minute. Hurlbut chased it back at the point, had it knocked away, got it back, faked the shot, hooked it down to Shuchuk. Shuchuk looking down on the power play, moved to the circle to Conroy. 53 to go. Here's a centering pass that just missed Larose. Lamb's got it. Lamb at a point, getting set. Mark Lamb danced it over to Hurlbut with 44 on the power play. Faked the shot, cuts it over to Shuchuk. Aeros with a chance to take the lead. Hurlbut shoots, stopped by Racine. Rebound, trickled just wide. Conroy was fighting for it, couldn't get there. And the Dragons with a big clear there.
What a shot from Mike Hurlbut to get it on the net. Now Conroy's determination just to get a second shot away.
Now Now the Aeros in transition. Lamb to center, trying to scamper up ice. Mark Lamb, forechecked a little bit by Shank. Having all kinds of trouble trying to shake him off, and finally goes over to Hurlbut. Give Daniel Shank a lot of credit. He's wreaked havoc there. Now Shuchuk got by Shank. Shuchuk at center, dumped it in. Aeros go in after it, but the Dragons are back, and that has slammed the length of the ice. And that'll do it for the power play. In fact, it came after the power play. That's an icing call, and play is whistled down. Timeout on the ice. 10:21 to go in the third. The Aeros get a big goal from Graeme Townshend to tie it at 4. Back after this. Back to the Freeman Coliseum. A reminder, Houston Aeros hockey brought to you in part by Gatorade. You know, you live life to the fullest. You are going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. And the Aeros in a tight one. Back at even strength. Here's O'Connor. Sends one over to Krupke. Lets the shot go. Whoa, a toe save made by Racine there. And it's picked up by Barrie and scooped out at center, but Krupke waiting for it. Steers it in, but Berehowsky goes back. Tides have turned a wee bit now in favor of the Aeros after the Dragons really controlled play for the start of this period in the latter part of the second.
All of a sudden, the Aeros have found their legs once again in their skating.
At center, Drake Berehowsky, forecheck by Yo. And the puck is dumped in. Krupke will go back to play it in behind the cage with 9:43 to go in the third, tied at 4. Lamb at center. He'll dump the puck in. Back to play it is Brian Sullivan. Sullivan up the boards. Move it out to center. Panalev shakes off a check of Lamb. How strong is he? Sullivan centered. And that pass deflected away. Larose smacked it up the boards, and Straub will clear it ahead just behind Alan May. Chapdelaine for San Antonio. Bangs one back to center, and Gord Donnelly is there. Donnelly's pass for Lamb. A little bit hard, and Donnelly will have to go back into his own end and try it again. With 9 minutes to go in the third. Hard pass along the boards came to Guy Larose. He'll move it up and out at center. Trying to lead Conroy. In across the line. Offsides was Alan May. And play whistle down. Let's take another timeout. 4-4 from Freeman Coliseum. Back after this. Tied at 4 with 8:54 to go, and Dave Tippett. You know, we talked a lot about Jeff Brubaker and his club with a lot of grit, and I think maybe we've kind of overshadowed Dave Tippett and his grit, and I think it's rubbed off tonight. The Aeros had a comfortable 3-1 lead, and it melted away. In fact, till they were trailing 4-3, but they battled back and tied it on a couple of goals by Graeme Townshend. Now, the Dragons back to action. Shoot it back out at center, and Hurlbut is there. Trying to fire one ahead. Hurlbut launched it for Al Conroy, who is out there with Shuchuk and Eric Cloutier. Cloutier pursues as he goes hard into the boards. Battle for the puck, and it's cleared by San Antonio the length of the ice. Panalev gives chase. It's icing if the Aeros get there. Jakes did, and they'll touch icing the call.
Smart play by the Aeros defenseman there. Mike Hurlbut was going back, but he said, oh, I look it up. There's Panalev. He holds him up a little bit and sends Jakes back to go get the icing.
And Jake's gone over there, and Steve Jakes, as you see his numbers, 3 goals, 16 assists for 19 points.
Who this summer had a great summer job.
What was that? Oh,
Michael Petroleum.
That's right, I knew that.
With Glenn Hart and those people over at Michael Petroleum, who a few of them are here. Brad Petrick's here tonight. Who were involved.
Have you seen Glenn? Is he here?
I haven't seen Glenn Hart here tonight, but Jakes did a computer program for them. They said that he was a spectacular employee.
Yeah, Glenn Hart, the minority owner of the Aeros, as a puck goes just wide of Bruce Racine. We haven't seen the majority owner, Chuck Watson, who I understand was supposed to be here. A lot of Aeros here, a lot of fans here as the puck brought over the line ahead, or I should say behind of a player that went in ahead of the play, and that is offside. 8:09 to go in the third. And once again, I want to remind everybody tomorrow, the home opener, the Aeros and the same San Antonio Dragons. And once again, I want to remind everybody, our radio flagship station, KKHT, with Rice Football, will not be carrying us. So you will find us in one place and one place only, 740 KTRH. For tickets, 629-3700. Folks, get out to the game. It is going. You're looking at two teams that are very evenly matched. You've got a very hard-working San Antonio team, and you've got the Aeros that have got a lot of grit and determination, and it's going to be a wild one tomorrow night.
And if no other reason, you can come look at myself and Adam Gordon in tuxedos.
Oh, boy. Now you've done it. You just cost him another 1,000 tickets. Puck is back at center ice. Here comes Panalev in across the line. Make that Loach rather. I thought it was 13 or 33 Loach that dumped it in. O'Connor for Houston. Rolled it up for Mike Yeo. Crowd into this one for sure. They've been into it all night. Puck is dumped in. Racine came out of the net. And he'll clear it, but not out. Freer waits for it. Freer trying to center one, but Len Barrie takes over. Barrie scampers to center with Loach and Shank. He's dumped in, and Straub will go back.
And Len Barrie gave me a little bit of a snowball today. He said he was out of shape, but he's skating pretty well tonight.
Yeah. Straub smacked one the length of the ice. No icing. They say that San Antonio could have played it, so no icing. Drake Berehowsky. He'll fire one ahead. That's a two-line pass and play a whistle down. The Aeros, by the way, then get a week off, and then next week, Dave Tippett and the boys will be in Salt Lake City Friday night and Saturday. Friday will be a radio-only game on KKHT. Saturday will be the debut of the Houston Aeros on KNWS, Channel 51.
And plus, a night that I can redeem myself after this performance so far tonight.
Troy, don't sell yourself short. You're a tremendous Loach. No, you've done a terrific job, Troy.
I'm sure I'll hear that on the way home tonight.
No. All right. Away come the Dragons, but it's intercepted by Lamb. He'll bring it across with Shuchuk. Lamb steered one down. Shuchuk going in there with MacIntyre. Now Osborne trying to move one away. Conroy fires his body into the man. Conroy. Now to Shuchuk. And it's rolled down and backed out at center, and the Dragons will turn it around. But Brian Straub takes that away, and the Aeros back in possession. Donnelly fires one in there, high off the glass. It'll bounce to Lamb. He's run into by MacIntyre. Loose puck along the boards, and here come the San Antonio Dragons. Puck on edge across the line for Osborne. Rolled one over. Here's a chance in front. Big shot blocked loose, and Chabot was there as the referee loses sight of the puck. That all started on Guy Levesque's charge. Levesque is a little upset, but Chabot will make a nice save and hold on. And Chabot once again slow to get up. Now he's getting up. His sticks are getting high. And here we go. We've got Brian Straub and Scott Hollis. Hollis with a couple of stiff rights. Straub with an overhand right. And then Straub down.
As you said, that whole entire play started with Guy Levesque. And with Guy Levesque there, sat out most of last year, came back, made a tremendous play there.
And I'm sure they'll be matching majors to both Straub and Levesque. Let's take a look and see how it got started, Troy. Levesque really made a nice play in there, and Chabot made a good save.
Freddie's down on the ice, taking away all the lower part of the ice, pounces on the puck. And then just a couple little face washes. Brian Straub gets one in the chops, and away he goes.
So that got the crowd going. Brian Straub went with him there. And referees getting everything. And now Dave Tippett.
Well, they took both players.
I don't know what Tippett's complaining about.
Away. So I tend to me to believe. Well, let's listen in here.
San Antonio, number 41, Scott Hollis. 2 minutes, ice skating. 5 minutes, fighting. Houston, number 24,
Hollis,
Brian Straub.
2 and a 5.
2 minutes, ice skating. 5 minutes,
Straub 5.
by the penalty, 13-41.
So just matching majors and minors. So no loss of manpower. But they'll both be done for the night with only 6:19 to go and a 4-4 game and a very critical face-off to the left of Freddie Chabot. The Aeros have really been dominated by San Antonio in the face-off circle tonight, so everything really magnified in a tight tilt such as this one. Drop the puck, and the Aeros have it. Nice win there for Freer, and it'll go over to Hurlbut. Sets up behind the cage, rolled it over to Jakes. He'll move one out at center, and now Freer's got a 2-on-1 with Larose. Freer is in on goal. He'll shoot, and he just missed the net. Now loose puck, Townshend cuts down the left side. Townshend belted by Shantz. Just drilled like an oil well right into the corner, and down he went. A huge hit there from Rennie Shantz. Nice play there. Now Larose across the line, and it's controlled by Brent Bilodeau, and he'll move it up for the San Antonio Dragons, but not out. Freer, nice pass over to Townshend, but a bouncing puck that he'll corral along the wall. Scooped it down. Loach, muscled by Larose. Former teammates in Detroit last year. Now Jake's right side getting set. Aeros with a chance. Freer center. Townshend, a one-time shot. I think he hit the post. Now Larose to Townshend. Moves around behind the net, looks for a man to pass to. Conroy cuts to the net. The puck was centered, but intercepted by Bilodeau of the Dragons, and he'll play it in his own end. 5:15 to go. Bilodeau feathered a pass out for Daniel Shank, and he'll shoot it into the Aero end. Icing indicated as Hurlbut is there, and he will touch, and icing will be called, and they'll bring the faceoff back into the San Antonio end.
Graeme Townshend out there going for the hat trick, takes it off the post. And there he is. Hopefully we get a look. Here we go. Look at this pass by Mark Freer. The one-time shot off the side of the post. Very good shot from Graeme Townshend. And a great pass.
Hey, Graeme, check your keys at the door.
Wow. That's 225 pounds of solid man into the boards there.
Man of the year.
Man of the year, that's right. Neutralite.
All right, puck is frozen, whistle stops play. Let's take a timeout. We're tied at 4, back after this. Back in the Freeman Coliseum to the sounds of, what is this song? Gee, I've never heard this song before.
Well, she's got it down.
Yeah. Now a face-off to the right side of Bruce Racine.
The fans have thoroughly enjoyed this game
great
tonight.
game, regardless. We were hoping for a good one, and it has been entertaining from not even just the drop of the puck from the minute they did the pyrotechnic show here. Dragons bring it across the line. It's centered, knocked away. Panalea with a chance in the circle, knocked away. Sullivan is there, but they're going to whistle it dead on a hand pass, yeah. Panalea had knocked it down, and then Sullivan was the next man to touch, and that's a hand pass.
I cannot believe how strong on his skates Panalea is. That is amazing to me how strong he is.
Yeah, and we talked about, he's not your classic European. European's not known for this kind of strength, although actually I should say that Europeans have always had strong legs. Guy like Jaromir Jagr, I don't know if anybody's got stronger legs than him in the NHL.
And I played with one guy named Pavel Bure in Vancouver.
Who? Never heard of him.
This guy named Bure, he had tree trunks also.
Could wheel. Is he the fastest in the NHL, maybe?
Yes, he's right up there.
Now O'Connor off the face-off, brings it out to Lamb. Mark Lamb at center, dumped the puck into the San Antonio zone. A chance for Yo cutting in there, and the puck changed direction, was caught up in the wheels. Now behind the net, May fights for it. In there, it is Panalev, but that's scooped away, and the Dragons come away with it. That shot up and out at center ice. Arrows are there, O'Connor at center. Rolled the puck over to Al May, trying to find Lamb. Chipped away, and away come the Dragons out at center. Yo working over Jason Miller. Sullivan wanted to shoot it in, but instead the Aeros, Gord Donnelly there for Lamb, moves it up ice. Aeros making changes as the Dragons do with 4 minutes to play. A 4-4 game. Do not go away. What a tilt tonight. Loach for Barrie, speeding it across the line. He'll dump it in. Shank goes after it for San Antonio. Base of the circle, he wanted to center it. He was belted by Hurlbut, and the Aeros come out with it. Larose at center, lost the handle. Shank turns it around. Shank centered for Loach. Loach returned the pass, but there was Gord Donnelly, and he'll clear it up and out at center ice. Now MacIntyre cranks one into the Aero end. Houston's Hurlbut trying to clear Connaught. Barrie and Donnelly go after it. Donnelly rolled it along the board, slides to Townsend. He'll chip it to the line. MacIntyre held, left point. Rolled one down behind the net. Barrie sends one back. Here's a chance for Loach. He wanted to center. He had Shank in front, couldn't get it to him. Now he'll center, and Chabot has to make the save of the night. And then Chabot gives Shank a bit of a shove between the legs. I'm not so sure that didn't go off a Houston Aero twig on that Chabot had to make that save on.
I believe it went off a leg in front of the net. And Chabot very wisely pounced on it. Here we get a good look at it. Just centers it out front here.
No, it went off. Boy, it went off Shank.
That long stick there, that long stick, that big fat paddle. And he's the one that got the tip on. And here's a concern for the Aeros.
Yeah,
this is concern.
Yeah. He's been down a couple of times. I'm wondering though if this is exhaustion. No, oh, it's a cramp.
Well, he's been banged around, and you tend to get those cramps in the back part of your hamstrings.
Well, Rob Dopson is the backup, and because of how small the benches are, Dopson is not on the bench, and he is off the ice. And right now, well, Chabot looks okay. We got to go through 82 of these things. Every time this kid goes down, you're going to have to hold your breath.
Well, the Aeros have invested a lot of their future into Frederic Chabot. And if anyone can come in and play, Frederic Chabot will be their man. He's been very sharp tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of little chink passes in front where he's been able to get down with that butterfly style and cover up.
Off the face-off. Here is Miles O'Connor. Fires one along the boards for Yo. He'll try and bust it out of his end. Connaught held in by Shank the lane, but Conroy came up with it. He'll skate the center. Scampers a pass ahead for Yo. Brings it across the line with Shuchuk. Yo down the right side, round Bilodeau. Looked in front, couldn't get it to Shuchuk. Puck was cleared, and O'Connor had to go back to center. He dumped it in. That is offsides, and the face-off back to center. Boy, are they saying that's an intentional offsides? Yes, they are. And that'll bring a face-off down into the Aero end.
I think I could feel Dave Tippett's heart just kind of flutter for a second when Jerry Mines had to go out onto the ice there.
Well, you can see Dave Tippett, for those of you watching on Prime Sports, not happy about the intentional offsides call. Face off to the left side of Frederic Chabot. Guy Levesque to take the draw, but Conroy wins it for Houston. And Jakes will play. 2:39 to go in the regulation of this one. Tied at 4. Jakes boots one out at center. Move it ahead for Conroy. Trying to dump it in. Knocked away by Bilodeau. It goes back into the Aero end, and O'Connor has to hustle back, but he tells Jakes to play it. Sends one to O'Connor. I'll tell you what, the Dragons have forechecked very well tonight. And they have really caused a lot of havoc tonight. Daniel Shank especially.
And the Aeros have them 11 more times this year.
Now a puck going off the skates of Brian Shanz. Aeros moved one ahead, looking Yo, but it went to Levesque and goes into Aero territory. Jakes will play behind the cage. We're down to the 2 minutes of the third. Oh, bad clearing play. Here's a chance. Osborne centered one. The shot went just wide. Loose in front, and Chabot will cover up. Once again, a very weak play in trying to clear it out, and Keith Osborne just about made the Aeros pay.
It's one of those plays that they practice all the time, and they want the defenseman to blast it off the boards. Steve Jakes didn't get enough wood on it. There he goes down trying to block it, make amends. The puck comes back out front, right in the crease. Frederic Chabot down on the ice. But goes down. Look at Frederic Chabot. Look at the intensity, and down, pounces on that puck.
Face off left side of Freddie Chabot. Freer trying to win the draw, but it's controlled by Panalev. Battling, and now worked it over, but Freer is there, and he'll shoot it out at center for Guy Larose.
Panalev, they can't get the puck off that guy.
Nope. Now the puck goes down the ice. This is going to be an icing call on San Antonio. And a break for the Aeros with a face-off now in the San Antonio zone as Jeff Brubaker looks on. You know, in talking with Dave Tippett before the game, when there's about 2, 3, 4 minutes left, he shortens up his bench, but he has a thing called last-minute offense that he has, and I don't know if he utilizes it in a tie situation such as this one, but Tippett has this sheet where he keeps track of guys that he wants on the ice in the last minute. I'm kind of curious to see what he would have for tonight. I'm sure Graeme Townshend, I don't even have to look, would be a guy you'd want out there the way he's played tonight. As a false start on the face-off, that'll cost the Aeros 5 yards, and they'll do it again.
And you look, you have Mark Freer and Graeme Townshend out there. They've all played very, very well tonight. And Guy Larose has shown some bursts of speed down the wing.
He had that breakaway in the first period where he pulled away, took a slash. Now Hurlbut turns with a drive. It was deflected. Freer had his back to the play. If he could have looked around him, he may have had a marvelous chance in front, but the puck is cleared to center. Crumpty pounded to the boards. Now the Dragons able to chip one, heads up that one into the San Antonio bench. And I'm not so sure that went off. I think it went off a Dragon stick, and that'll stay in the Dragon zone.
In Dragon territory, the Dragons. What do you think of that name, Adam?
I like it. Not bad.
Last night, they had a 50-foot dragon out in the parking lot eating cars, and they had a big fan fest here.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk. They originally wanted this team to be called the Rhinos, but a team in the Roller Hockey League has the copyright to that. So they went with the Dragons.
One player that has really jumped out in my mind tonight, and he's on the ice, is Gary Shuchuk. Has really skated well.
Here's Mike Hurlbut for Houston. He'll fire one in. Shuchuk chased it down with 1:10 to go. Shuchuk in the corner. Give it to Conroy. That's knocked away, and Len Barrie moves it up ice. He'll shoot one in. Chabot trying to knock one down. It goes to the near side. Loose puck centered, and Chabot got a stick on it. Now the puck rolls to the corner and behind the net, loose. They fight for it, and who is that on top of it? One of the Aeros on top of that puck, and I think it's Gord Krupke.
It is Gord Krupke, who last year had a bad shoulder injury right at the start of the season that hampered him, I think, for most of the season.
Let me get it for him.
Hurlbut helping out one of the San Antonio players. I don't know if anybody could really hear it, but I know we got our crowd mic down there, and whoever the San Antonio player was that was down didn't get his stick, and Hurlbut goes over and says, "I'll get it for him." Gives him a little shot there. Mike Hurlbut, yes sir.
All right, 50 seconds left. Face off right side of Frederic Chabot. We got those secret mics all over the ice. Now battle for the puck. It came back to the line. Eldon Dillado lets the shot go, and Chabot makes the save. Once again, Aeros needing a face-off right now. They need to get themselves a win and get it out of the end.
When I was talking to Lenny Barrie after the skate today, I said, we were talking about players in the league and face-offs. And I said to him, there's a guy in Kalamazoo, played with the Dallas Stars named Neil Brady. I said, I felt he was the best. Lenny Barrie said, no, I'm the best. And he just won the draw there.
And he didn't come up with the one there. Conroy able to win it, but it was kind of a battle now between Krupke and Shank. Loach goes in there. Aeros with a chance now. With some room to Hurlbut. He'll move it up and out at center. That was played by Chapdelaine. Boy, showed some good cool there. Now Hurlbut will try it again. He's got Barrie that stepped on the puck, and down he went. Krupke. Let's fire one out at center. Shuchuk belted along the boards. Conroy's in there. Now Shuchuk will dump it in with 15 seconds left. And it's beginning to look like the shootout. Shank turns and fires one. Barrie will lob one ahead with 5 seconds left. Here's a pass Donnelly to Freer across the line. 1 second. The buzzer sounds, and that is it. So we're going to a shootout. And the Aeros, as we mentioned, lost in a shootout opening night in Denver 2 years ago. And now they're going to a shootout here. So the Aeros guaranteed of a point, but I'll tell you, the Aeros, be interesting to see who Dave Tippett wants for his shootouts here. And Freddie Chabot.
I don't think we're going to see Dave Morissette.
No.
Boy, you really went out on a limb there.
Let's actually, while we've got a second here, because Prime Sports obviously not only seen in all, just in Houston, but it's seen in San Antonio here. So let's go over the shootout rules here. Basically, you take 5 shooters from each team. You decide who you want. and they will alternate back and forth with the visiting team going first. You then shoot on a breakaway format. It's a penalty shot format on the goaltender. The team with the most goals in the 5 shooters wins. If you're tied after 5 shooters, then you go to sudden death after each one.
And they are the goaltender's nightmare.
You used to hate them, but you used to be great at them.
Last year, I had a little success in them. A couple of years ago when I played in the IHL, I used to bring in the lefty. A guy named Mike Torchia, who played with myself in Kalamazoo, used to just give it the old left hand.
Bring in the lefty.
And he won 3 in a row for the team.
Now the Aeros, you know, I don't think could have asked for a better game. You've got opening night, great crowd in San Antonio. You've got a shootout game. The Aeros were down 4-3, showed a lot of grit. San Antonio kept putting the pressure to him. Freddie Chabot made some good saves, and it can't come down to anything any better than a shootout here.
Well, the only thing that can be better is with an Aeros win in Dave Tippett's mind.
Yes. Rob Dopson, notice wearing sweater number 32 to give away the 30 to Freddie Chabot.
I offered him number 1.
Did you?
Yeah, but he said, hey, I saw the way you played last year. So now,
try a new number.
So now, who do I see that wears it is Eddie the Boner Sanchez from one of the rock stations in Houston.
Yeah. All right. We are just about ready to start this shootout. Who will be first? Mr. 2 goals himself, Graeme Townshend. Townshend has a propensity of scoring big goals in shootouts.
Who last year was batting 1,000.
All right, here comes Townshend. He'll start it on Bruce Racine. Townshend in across the line. He'll move in on goal. He'll wait. He will shoot. Hit the side of the net after Racine had poke checked it. Nice try there, but now it'll come down to Grigory Panalev. And Panalev will go on Freddie Chabot. Panalev, who has been outstanding tonight, moves in on goal. He will shoot. Score! 1-0 San Antonio after the first round. And Gary Shuchuk will get her going. He will be the second shooter for the Houston Aeros. Shuchuk picks up the puck at center, and he'll move in for Houston. Shuchuk deep shoots, and Racine the save. And the second shooter coming up for the San Antonio Dragons. And we'll see who it is. We don't get sweater numbers here. It's Jason Miller. Miller will cut in. Miller in on Chabot. Score! 2-0 San Antonio. Chabot hasn't been close on either of them. And now the Aeros need a big goal. It's going to be Al Conroy. So here comes Conroy, needing to get a big goal here. Otherwise, Dragons can close it out. Conroy waits, shoots, and Racine the save. And San Antonio can win it right here. And they're going to call on Daniel Shank. He's had a terrific game for San Antonio tonight, gotten under the skin of the Aeros, and he can win it right here. Shank on Chabot. Chabot to cut down the angle. Here is Shank. Shoots, missed the net. Aeros with a life. Conroy has come up a little limp. He's skating off the ice right now. And he's not putting much pressure on that left knee. So now Mark Freeman. He'll bring it in. Freer, deep shoots, Racine the save, and the San Antonio Dragons defeat the Houston Aeros in a shootout by a score of 5-4. The Aeros pick up a big road point, but the Dragons, in front of a big crowd, win their home opener by a score of 5-4 as Bruce Racine shuts the Aeros out in the shootout. And Jeff Brubaker with a little bit of a smile as he walks by and looks at the fans.
Well, in the shootout, they seem to go to the right-hand side of Freddie Chabot. I don't know if that was the scouting report or not, but those were 2 pretty good shots inside the post. And now the concern for the Aeros is Al Conroy.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be all right. Didn't put much pressure on that knee. Maybe he just banged it against the pipe as he was heading off. 5-4 the final in a shootout, and we'll have some final thoughts when we return. And by the Gatorade Company. You live life, you get thirsty. Life's a sport, drink it up. (5-4) Dragons win it tonight in front of a packed Freeman Coliseum. Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, and tell you, the fans that watch this one that were thinking about going tomorrow, they got to go tomorrow. What a tilt that it's going to be when these two teams go at it on Aeros home ice.
You can already sense that this is going to be a great series. 11 more times they face off against each other.
Time to look at tonight's Texaco Star of the Game, brought to you by Texaco, Clean System 3 Gasolines. Grigori Panaleo with a goal tonight, also a goal in the shootout, and I just thought he was their best forward.
He was spectacular. He was so hard to get off the puck. He made some good passes. The one thing he did that I didn't know that he had in him, he drove hard to the net and stuck around.
He was so tough to move off the puck tonight, and he is going to be a tough guy for Dave Tippett to try and find a matchup for tomorrow.
Exactly, because everyone thinks it's the one matchup with the three big guys on the one line, but it was Panaleo that killed us.
Now the big $64,000 question. Does Bill Bowler play tomorrow?
I think he does.
Yeah?
I think you come back, and we're going to have to see what the injuries are. You know, Al Conroy limping off there at the end. That doesn't help. And then you have to find out what is going on in the locker room. If the guys feel that if he's going to help that much, you have to put him in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's, as we mentioned, a 50 goal guy, 80-point guy, and you want him in the lineup, but you know, the guy's been sitting. He's not in game shape. I don't care how much he's been skating, if he's been skating at all. He's not in game shape, but I guess maybe the best way to get him in game shape is start playing the guy. And you know, I'm not saying he would be the difference tonight, but the Aeros are going to home opener tomorrow, and definitely a win is what they're looking for, because tonight I think they come away a little disappointed. I think they were, even though it's on the road, they wanted the win, but still it's not a total loss because they get the point in the shootout.
Exactly true, Adam, is that 1 point on the road is very important, especially when they were down in the third period. And then once Graeme Townshend scored that goal, that is when they got the jump back in their legs.
Well, and speaking of that goal, it is our Gatorade play of the game. Graeme Townshend, what a game for the Aeros tonight.
He was spectacular. Al Conroy just tries to get it on the net, and then Mark Lamb swipes at it. But who swipes at it with a bigger stick? Graeme Townshend drives it in.
He spoke softly, but carried a big stick, and that is all that matters. And Graeme Townshend is our Gatorade play of the game. Again, the Dragons win at 5-4 in the shootout. And, you know, I think right now you look at for the Houston Aeros, their big question mark, I think, is going to rest on the blue line here. There's no question that I think guys from the backside are going to have to pick it up a little bit. Mike Hurlbut, I thought, had a terrific game, but, you know, it's going to be the other guys, and I think they're going to rebound with a good effort tomorrow night.
Well, you are correct, and I think the one thing that Dave Tippett would like to see is see the defense make shorter passes, have shorter outlet passes, and I think if they can get those 5 to 7 foot passes down, then we can get out of our end a lot quicker.
So the Dragons